trying to tweet out that I'm live. It's not letting me stay logged in. I'm gonna try and log in after logging out. There it goes. That's weird. This whole add an existing account feature just suddenly broke on me, and I don't know why. There, now it's doing it. Wasn't letting me do it before. Excellent. There we go. Okay. Check, check. Nice. Hello there, Devi, and hello, Lego Master Ninja, and Neko Donut, and Ghoulies, and JDT, and Fire Falcon, and Jamie, and Captain Chameleon, and Whistlewind Wolf, and Waffle Chicken, and Idiot Woomy, and Always Open Utopia, and Sylphie, and Smidge, and Fraught By, and Ane, and I Am the One. How's it going, y'all? Just saw your Don't Step on Toes video. Yes, it's a term that I've been using a lot recently in like VOD reviews and whatnot, that I realize like, usually when I make something up like that, it's something that I should probably have a video out explaining what it means. So when people are like, hey, what does he mean when he says that? I can be like, that one, watch that one. I just pointed, but I can only point like that far before my hand goes off screen, so it doesn't work as like, I can't just like point out in, random directions like that, because then I just, my limbs vanish. They cease to exist. It's a problem sometimes. And thank you, Fraught By. I've been having an okay day. I just watched a documentary about dubstep, of all things. It was actually really interesting. So that's what's on the brain at the moment. And hello, Loose Skyle Plumber, and Insane Driver Bob, and Vice. Are we taking roll? Present. And God Turtle, hello, and Abyss, and PK Deluxe, hello, and GJE Rocks, and JR Hyde, and Sampling Boot, and Skeptilian. Skeptilian? I'm not sure. Watch your video on Fame, it's really cool. Thank you. Glad you liked it. And hello, Johnny Badu, Silency, Septillion. Okay. That's not going to get confusing at all. Because there is a Skepidillions, Skep for short, who plays for Acropora, and is a well-known commentator as well. Video about body blocking. See, that's what all the comments seemed to think. all the comments on that video were like, "Oh my god, I'm a splatling and I hate it when people stand in front of me." I already made a video about that phenomenon, and it was the very last thing that I mentioned in the video, but that was the one that really stayed on the brain for those folks, I guess. All the other stuff about positioning relative to your teammates, that was really the main point of it. If you were to read the comments section, you would think that I was just talking about splatlings. But, yeah. I was seriously considering just, like, cutting in, like, a moment from a Gretzko into that video, where I would put at the bottom, like, Devi after getting body blocked, probably, and the cat just dropping into death metal. New subscriber, excited to learn a lot from you. Oh, awesome. Welcome. Kind of newbie to ranked. Yeah, that's fine. I mean, I've always said, you know, with my VOD reviews, anything else, like, I will teach you if you are better than me. I will also teach you if you have never touched a video game controller in your life. Like, I don't care. I'm happy to help. All right. I know about primacy recency stuff, Sylphie, and normally I would say that you're correct. The problem here is that we're talking about YouTube, where we're dealing with the attention span of people on the internet. On a YouTube video, the last thing in the video is the absolute least likely thing for anybody to watch. Nobody's going to click to the very end of the video just to get there. They're always going to start at the beginning, and so that's always going to have the most eyeballs. So for that to be the thing that the comments are talking about the most, I mean, it says good things for the engagement, but it also speaks to the plight of the splatling class. Man, it sounded like I was a Marxist or something, talking about class struggle there. The splatlings will rise up against their... Oh my god. That's funny. The splatlings will seize power. All those who stand in front of their teammates will be automatically demoted by the game's ranking system. They've got no commie at gunpoint. Oh no. We do have a criminal group. Okay, yeah, Devi's already orchestrating the military coup of the Nintendo development team that's producing Splatoon 3. Oh boy. But yeah, people do get that upset apparently about being shot blocked. So bear that in mind when you have a splatling on your team. Please don't stand in front of them, for the sake of their own sanity, to make sure that they don't, you know, commit crimes. Alrighty. Jamie, Devi, it is the password that we've been using recently. So you guys can hop in and hop into the VC whenever. I've been looking around, and we actually don't have a fourth at the moment. There are a number of people that I could ask, except that all of them are backliners. And since Devi and Jamie both also main backline weapons, it's getting a little crowded in the kitchen here. But I mean, Sylphie, if you want to hop in and try and make it work, I mean, you're welcome to. But yeah, like, I've been thinking, like, of all the people that I have to actually go to ask to fill in for stuff like this.
They're all backlines.
They're all backline weapons.
That's why I'm looking into machine, and actually the newest Rapid, actually, now that I'm familiarizing, like, getting used to Inkjet.
Oh, it's so much fun.
I could potentially use the Rapid.
I really like that Rapid. It's a lot of fun.
I've always liked the Rapid. I really want to see what the Rapid Pro gets for the second kit.
Tragic
trying
Comp
to-
Tuesday. Oh no.
I'm just trying to help my what is it? I found after a scrim last night that we did, like we found out like there's a couple weapons that like the squad has a hard time countering, and it's like I know they want me to help out with that, but it also gives me a hard time too. So it's like, okay, what can I do to help them so that they can like, you know, actually engage on certain things and all that. And it's just like, okay. I have a couple options, but they definitely need time to get work done on them.
There's SBPC in the chat. For those of you who saw the video about Underused, the server where they basically take Smogon tiers from competitive Pokemon and apply them to the game so that they can ban the top tiers and have a set of weapons that'll create a completely different metagame. Very, very cool project. SBPC there is the player in charge of running that. It's been a great success. I've seen it. It got a lot bigger. Let me see what we're sitting at there right now. Got 182 online, and then offline 270 something. Yeah, that's a sizable server now. So congrats on that getting off and running. 700 people. That's awesome. That's awesome. There's a link to it in the video, right? Yeah. There should be. And if not, I mean, you've got the person to ask for an invite link in the chat right here, right now. Jamie, did you need the password? It was the same one we.
No,
Oh, okay.
I was trying to get the Switch to reconnect to the internet.
Okay,
All
awesome.
good.
No
I
worries.
don't know if you had it before or not, so I just like re-DM'd it to the other two.
You know, before, every night I turn off, like I fully turn off my Switch, and every time I disconnect my Switch from the internet. So, well, I prefer it that way because it starts fresh with the new connection.
So I don't think I got a response from Sylphie there. Hey, SBPC, you want to jump in? We could also grab on A. But hey, I just featured SBPC. Sure, okay, awesome.
Cool.
Are you in the Squid School server, SBPC? I think you are. I think I gave you the guest lecturer role. So you should be able to see the VC that we're in. And let me double check to make sure that I did that. Maybe I didn't.
But that's all right here.
If not, you could just use the !Discord command in the chat to get that. I don't think I'm in. Okay, yeah. Doesn't look like you are. So here's this.
I can't play a little bit more online.
Whoa, Discord is being slow. Why is it being so slow all of a sudden? This is weird.
Weird.
I was having problems with it last night. I kept disconnecting from the chats. But that could also
Something
be
cool
my
happened
internet.
today. I got my Splatfest T-shirt today, the IRL one. That was pretty cool.
Nice.
Man, watch SPPC be a backline main.
If it is, I'll go something else.
You know, I can, if you guys want me to, I can start off on this.
In all honesty, with the maps that we have here, the two aren't bad. Like the Jet can combo with any other backline.
Yeah.
I just have to change.
I'm looking for SPPC here, not DM me the link. Phone's being weird. Okay, sure. One sec. So there's that, and I don't know why I did it this way, but we
I
can
feel like we
make it
could
work.
totally commit backline crimes
So there's that.
and not be on each other's toes.
And now I should be able to find them here, which I did. I gave them the guest lecturer role, so now they should be able to see the VC that we're in and join it. And whenever you can, hop in.
Or at least join the waiting room. And then we can
The guest lecturer should be able to join straight into commentary.
Oh,
Yep,
cool.
there they are. Hi there, SBPC.
Howdy. Can y'all hear me?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right.
Check,
Sorry
check.
if my voice sounds a little weird. I've been sick recently.
Gotcha. Sorry to hear it.
Yeah, it's...
mhm.
I flex around the board on weapons, by the way, so you don't have to worry about me playing backline. Let's
Okay.
pass.
I will DM you that.
All right.
There it is. Okay. So yeah, we've got Devi who mains backline splatlings, and then Jamie who mains backline splatlings. Could have brought on Aplo who mains Charger. Could have brought on Sylphie who mains Charger. Could have brought on Femi who mains backline splatlings. I need to diversify the pool of players that I bring onto Squid School a little bit.
Well, I can also flex do support stuff, but
Yeah, Jamie's got that, and I'm trying to be more of the skirmishing frontline, so on my pocket picks.
I mean, I mained support in 2, but ironically enough, I also main X-Splosher in this game, which is a backline.
It is, but it's a good one these days, especially in a couple certain maps that like to show up in the rotation.
Yeah, I think it's good in like the general concept of the game, but I think it's got a lot of issues right now and
Yeah.
competitive.
I
Crab
mean,
tank, basically.
I mean, that's honestly the least of my worries nowadays.
Yeah, I don't know. It's like whenever I played Explo in tournament, I realized there was this like huge issue where like it doesn't have any real way to defend itself. It's just kind of forced to chance constantly.
Oh,
And
we
it
I
lost
lost Jamie.
Jamie.
Uh-oh. No, Jamie, come back. Yeah, upper levels of play, it basically becomes a guessing game. It's like, are they going to pop a special and kill you on the spot, or can you chance another kill or chance to contest more space?
Yeah, like it's really like outshined in most map modes, but I find there's in particular one map mode that whenever it shows up, Explo is good for, and that is the only map mode I use it on.
I would like to know what map mode is it. We might
Umami
agree.
zones.
Actually, no, I really do agree. I think it's actually really good on Umami
It is
Rainmaker too.
insane, yeah. Just Umami in general is an Explo map, and it's insane with how much control it can get from 2 particular spots. And it's like, okay, I can just hit this and cover this much area when I don't have a guarantee with splatlings, and the charger only has just the one angle and can't even arc. And it's like, oh, okay.
Yeah, the only issue is when you're losing, because it's
Oh,
like
then you're locked in, yeah.
it's
tougher.
it's the Explo issue.
I mean,
There's
at
a
least
lot-
it helps does poke, and depending on what your team has, like if they're running majority meta weapons, like if they're running splashes or machines, like it's extra poke for it, so it helps.
Right.
But
it's
Ane, do you want
I'm
to?
here.
Oh, there's Jamie. Okay, I was about to be like, I think Jamie's dead.
no. I had to do this.
now they're dead.
Now they're dead.
Um,
Ane, why don't you hop in?
I'm gonna play a UU weapon.
07's in chat for Jamie.
That was
07.
beautiful comic timing, I have to say.
You know, it's absolutely insane to me, Jim. Speaking of UU, since you brought it up.
There you go.
So, as of recent, I've been getting the usage stats for this
Oh.
month, and the way they've been chalking up thus far. Would you like to have a sneak peek at a weapon that may or may not fall into underused?
Oh no, what is it? Is this a DM you're sending me?
No, I'm holding it in my hands.
Holding it in your hands?
Are you gonna show it on the
Look
the
at
camera?
It's on stream. It's on stream. Look at the weapon I have selected.
Oh,
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 Yeah.
Well,
This-
okay, so you're trying to tempt me to get down in there into more of these pickups, are you?
Yeah, no, this demon might be falling down there because it's at 3.1% weighted usage right now, and despite the fact that we have seen multiple nerfs to V Splash, it still sits at a mighty fair 41% weighted usage, which is always fun.
That's crazy. There's
Yeah.
what are your thoughts? Okay, I'm actually in the process right now. Oh, by the way, okay, Ane left there.
Yeah.
I was gonna say to Ane that
Yeah,
we've got
we
Jamie,
have
so we're good to
Ane
go.
as
But
backup, though.
I'm very curious to hear what your thoughts, SBPC, are as an analyst on the situation with Neo Splash and T-Tech. Like, not necessarily like which one's better, but like, do you like either of them? Do you think they're like the best there is but bad? Like, where are you at on those right now? Because it's so weird.
So my opinion is that it's not that either is really like say good or bad, but I think the thing is that like when it comes to play styles, we as a community are still splintering from the general Splatoon 2 play style of hold safe zone, don't play very far into the enemy's hands, and because of that, it's like you notice how popular In Splash can be because it's literally just Splatoon 2 zones. Charger got me left side.
You got one left side.
And because of that,
Should
you
we go
know, it's
left?
like you'll see players,
Give me your
especially in
left.
Japan, who are like
Let's see.
really good with it
There you go.
and pop off with it. We're being pushed, yeah.
I see him.
But
Oh, there's
yeah,
a
no,
blaster on
basically,
flat.
I don't think it's great. I just think it's that it's Splatoon 2 zones, and that play
Oh,
style
okay.
is still very strong because we haven't found a way to beat it yet.
Gotcha. Like, because I look at the weapon even compared to like the meta of Splatoon 2, and I'm like, this weapon is like one of the most popular weapons in the game right now, and it would not have even been played in Splatoon 2. Like, it was competing with the Zap and the K-Shot, and like it's just worse than that. Like, those two weapons had better specials than it does, and the same bomb, and also more range to boot.
I got sniped.
So I'm looking at them
Yeah.
like it just feels really weak,
There's a beacon right
but
underneath
also
of you,
nothing
Jamie,
feels
too.
stronger either.
I can kind of
Blaster
agree with you on
flank
that. Flank? Okay, hold up, I
Yep,
gotta go back.
they're
Oh,
really
he's
weak.
right there.
Thank you.
Got one.
Around.
One in,
There you go,
right ramp,
free
right ramp.
basket.
Nice.
All right,
This one
where's the
left.
sploosh?
They're
Where's
flat.
They were on
basket.
top left.
Oh, I'm getting willed.
Zuking?
They're on the back right of their plat. Charger is, for sure. Oh, there's the
I
blaster.
don't think
There you go.
I think that might have been the first kill I've gotten this game.
Oh, good. I don't have any ink, Jamie. Watch
2v2?
out. Oh, bomb.
Back him up.
I'm just gonna shark this guy. Got him.
Nice.
Charger weak. Push him. Ah, okay, they
Oh,
backed
dead.
up.
Oh, no, no, bomb.
Blaster left again.
Where? Okay.
That blaster got me left side.
Left side, yeah.
Holding that
Gonna go
ledge,
up
holding
there.
that ledge.
Right underneath where
I
my
know,
outfit
I
is.
see.
I'm down to the sploosh or something.
Blaster's still hugging ledge. They're trying to come up the ramp. To
Yep,
the right
there
of
are
me
two on
with
right.
the beacon. They put a wall there. I have no ink.
Thanks to Ray Devil. One dropped on
Yeah,
me
no.
off the ledge.
I think
Do they bubble?
I think a lot of what makes Neo Splash popular right now is that it's safe pressure that a lot of people just don't know how to handle. I mean, even now you'll see Japanese players play it like crazy just because it's safe, free pressure that a lot of people just haven't figured out how to beat.
Ramp. There you go. Left corner. One's on the
Tapped
beacon
one
on the
on
right.
He jumped out, jump.
Charger on plat with jumps.
I think
Got one.
the way to go for the future,
Still a
by the
blaster
way.
in front of me.
Oh, my bad.
And Charger. Oh, I'm
Nice.
oh, thank you. Charger right behind the block.
But it's like the secret truth to the meta right now that a lot of people aren't gonna
There's one on
realize
the
is
right.
that like
I have ink
BP
jet.
is insanely good,
Push me
and I
out
think
with
I'm gonna try to ink jet this Charger.
all right, go
He's been
for it.
seeing a
We'll
lot
push
of
you.
top level use. One sharking right
I got him.
They're going
Blaster
ramp, they're going ramp,
right.
right ramp.
I'm dead, a blaster, probably.
Sploosh is
Right.
behind us.
Right side beacon. There's two on the beacon.
All right. I popped
They're
whale.
moving
I'm
up.
just gonna keep dancing around that whale.
Come back.
Can't see right now.
Got
What am I
one.
doing?
2 on right.
I hit him once. There you go.
Got one.
There you go, dead.
Charger on their plat left.
Zuking.
Blaster underneath.
He's weak. Hit him once. Hit him
Got him.
twice.
Down.
Oh, someone stole my kill. Unfortunate.
Mhm. My stats, no.
There's 3 on the grate here.
Junior throwing bombs from right.
I'm really weak.
Jaden and Sploosh. They're like after you, Debbie.
I know.
Yeah, I'm getting bombed out. I gotta just try and keep y'all alive. Wailing Charger.
Charger down, 1 dropped right. On ramp, blaster.
Dead.
They're
Yeah,
weak.
he's weak, he's weak.
They're looking for
Why can I not hit
No.
you? Why?
RNG at its finest.
Yeah, this is why I don't play this one.
Careful.
This is
There's a
why I don't
blaster at
play
our
this one.
basket. I need help.
I'm over
Bomb
here.
the
I'm
corner
just.
on the box. Got him.
There's no way. There's no way. I got tapped by the spark and it trapped me under a
Oh
bomb.
no.
I'm so
This
with you,
junior.
Dem.
This junior is the ultimate follow-up king. I'm just gonna jump in with a clan.
Yeah,
Can
yeah.
I?
Unjumpable,
Yeah.
at least
Careful behind
temporarily,
you
until
guys,
this guy
behind you
kills me.
guys.
Okay, I'm there. I'm here.
Got one.
Ah, unfortunate.
Down.
Uh-oh. Well. Salute.
Good game. Yeah. All right. I can't be perma-mid on stream. What am I doing?
Thanks for the raid, by the way, Devil. I don't know if I said that while we were playing. There was a lot going on.
You did.
I don't know if you heard what I was saying about like my opinion on like where the in-splash playstyle is gonna lead us, but I was like the future of the meta that you mentioned is seeing a lot of high-level play in Japan, but like once people figure out like BP is like insanely good and that OS Jet one taps crab, you'll see BP plus 1v splash plus like 2 good aggros, probably machine wiper, and that will just take over the meta.
There's a team right now that's using basically something like that. They're in the Ink TV League right now.
Is it
think-
Graveyard Shift?
No, it was what is it? At least 1 death or something like that. They
Oh,
were
yeah,
using
yeah,
that.
I listened to Zero Deaths.
0
Graveyard
deaths, that's what it was.
Graveyard Shift has been running Tetras, right? Because Orion's them
Oh.
with them.
Yeah. I don't know. I've been paying attention to the league, but at the same time, it's like,
Oh, it's
I
wrong.
don't, there's
Taku.
there's a
yeah, I
lot to
forgot.
be, there's a lot to be seen from some of these teams, and you'll notice that the teams that are like undefeated right now are still running double V Splash. Because as of right now, I just don't think we as a community, and this is like an insult to like anyone's general skill level, but I just don't think we as a community are like skilled enough at coordination and advancing our own plays to beat the single power of what a solo crab can
I
do to a
traded.
match.
There's 2 on the left by their basket.
I did tap him.
I can't push them.
Zuking.
1 backed up the ramp a little bit,
Oh, I'm dead.
but they're all in that corner
Never mind.
relatively. Left corner, underneath you, Jem.
The shot knows where I am, yeah.
ramp, Coming
I see him, I
backwards.
see him, I see him, I see him. Got him.
I don't think the sploosh does, though. Okay, now they do.
Got 2.
Jamie, do you want to gather clams if you don't have?
They're back
Jem's
up the
got
basket.
most.
Here, I can grab 4.
Okay.
Hold up.
I have 2. I have 6 now.
Play off that wall. Unfortunate.
Bunch of clams in front of Jamie.
Got 1.
Nice. Good kill. Scoring.
2 on the ramp.
I'm holding 2 clams to stagger goal. You can go
Trying
Rated
to
T-Tech.
find
more.
more clams. They're all by our basket.
They got me.
Okay, well I got 6 now.
Gonna jump out. All good.
Got 1.
Spruce is on right.
Yeah. They're weak. 1 shot, got him, but I died
There
to a
you
bomb
go.
in return. Right side on the pillow.
Yep.
Going up ramp.
There's another one pushing me here.
Weak ramp.
T-Tech down.
Nice.
Got
Nice, that's the 2.
slosh as well.
Back on their ramp is the last 2.
Cool, I have special.
Underneath
I'm
their
just gonna
clam
hold it
goal.
for stagger.
Oh, left. There you go.
Got him.
Okay, I
have
only
4.
got 2 clams.
Throwing 4.
Oh, I'm down to bombs. Didn't see that.
Oh,
Here.
fuck.
Jim, there's clams.
shot.
Oh, there's people behind you.
Got 1. Got 2.
Jumping
Just
in.
the ink shit. I only have 3
We don't have
clams,
clams.
by the way.
I'll
Okay,
go back
he
and get
can't-
some more.
He can't fight me.
I'm gonna have
Splish
6.
I
me?
got 2.
Oh, he traded me. Nice.
I have ink jet, but I'm being pushed. Buy a bucket. I got him.
Nice.
All right.
Nice.
Surprise.
We're 2 down.
I got 2.
Your jump is safe.
Whee! Thank you.
We're not expecting him either.
Okay, 2
Okay,
on their
see,
ramp
like-
again left. They have tri-strikes. Bottom left, I think the T-Tech fell.
Yeah, he's down there. I'm pairing up with you, whoever's down here.
I'm threatening the rail
I
just
don't
to get
have
him to
any-
look at it. I'm down.
Got
Nice.
Oh, right side.
Hold
See,
up,
they
I'm
pop
holding
the
him
whale,
left. I'm
they're
holding
getting
him
out.
left.
Yep,
We're really
there's
split.
your
We're really
thing.
split.
Careful, careful. Let's go cross.
I'm being pushed. Got him.
There you go.
Okay, nice.
All right.
Go.
I got the V shot.
Okay, I have 5.
I have 3.
That's 2.
Getting to basket.
Nice ball.
Here.
Left of you.
Jim, watch your left.
Got one.
Nice.
Another one here still. On me. Oh, they just crossed me up. They're still on me.
Lasers. Got sploosh.
Nice.
I'm gonna see if I can't stagger the
Nice.
basket.
That's 3.
Okay, I don't have any more clams. If you need to,
I'm
toss
gonna run
them
back
in.
for clams.
I have
Yeah.
3. Run back. You can run back. I'm staggering for basket.
Okay, I have 1. I'm gonna go gather 2 more.
Throwing clams up
Ah.
from below.
Thank you.
Down.
Jamie, I'll cover you the best I can.
You know, it's fine, it's fine. I did place down a miss. Right underneath you, yeah, right there.
I'm dead. 2
Oh,
on my.
that didn't-
There's 3 there.
I'm upset.
Ah, frick.
Watch out, Jem, just you. They're all 4 there.
Right on
Okay,
top
back
of you,
up.
Jem.
Just hold mid,
Taxing,
hold
I'm
mid.
taxing you out. I'm taxing you out.
One's
Get out of
following
there.
you on the right. Watch out.
We
Got
have
one.
We have minute 15 left. They're pushing back.
Really weak on me. I'm.
Not for
Oh
long.
shoot. Good stop. 2 in mid.
They're gonna push. No, they're not. Just hold mid.
No. Yeah.
Right below the snipe ledge is the T-Tech.
Pushing it. Pushing it. They're stuck. Got him.
Red side
left.
one. Dead.
Or- yeah.
Another one.
Bot right.
Try
He's
is
weak.
in front of me. Got one
Nice.
with bomb. Try dropped left.
Just
Got him.
arms Forward. That's stagger. That's full wipe or delayed wipe.
Yeah, I can throw 3 forward.
I have 2.
I'm dead.
I'm just throwing to me, I guess.
I got 1. I'm gonna ink it from below.
I have 3, 4.
Give me a few. Oh, I'm down to bomb.
On the sponge, I got Zuka.
It's alright.
On,
I'm back.
on their
I'm
sponge.
just.
Okay, 2 on the upper ramp. They
Me,
got
I
you
can't
love
fight.
this
I
upper.
can't fight them right now. I'm weak. I'm weak.
Yeah, that's okay.
Got
Just letting
one.
you know. Nice.
Oh,
There you
okay.
go.
Two.
There you go. Just
You
the
down?
sploosh.
I'm gonna jump
got it.
pity.
Good job.
I'm gonna jump pity.
Plus 10.
Alright, just jump into me. Let's go. You're out of range, by the way. Don't throw that.
There we go.
That was the
Nice.
worst fizzy bomb I ever threw. Jamie, did you see that?
Oh no, what
I
happened
threw
to
the
it?
bomb and I aimed it too low, so it I threw it forward and it went right back into Jamie's face. Like that would have been good if that was like an enemy player, not Jamie.
I may have misplayed like towards the beginning. I ran straight into Taku.
Oh,
Because I thought, okay, there's no one there. Oh, shoot, there's Taku there.
surprise, it's Taku. Oh gosh, I did good this game.
I got 2 silver. That's not.
I-
I'm essentially just a long range supports, which I
Fair
don't
enough.
mind.
I dropped a solid 22.
Let's go.
Nice work. Nice work.
But yeah, no, part of the reason why I do want to try to get this weapon working is because I really like how it can control like parries as well. Like specifically like the choke points.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
really difficult to push in against. It like your team has to push forward because it's not going to help with that at all. But if they do get any space, then all of that space is going to be painted, and there's going to be a rain on the way.
Yeah, exactly. In the mist too.
Yeah, it's such a good like calling out objective and stuff like that, and just holding the ground. So that way I can kind of play around you because I know you're gonna take more of the traditional spots, and I can take more of the non-ones and basically pinch.
Yeah.
I still forgot
so-
I forgot to ever like fix my splash tag and stuff from the salmon run
Oh,
thing. So I've been using,
I almost went into a scrim with that, and I'm like, wait.
I've been using like the bronze Moz thing. Like I've splatted 50 Moz. Cool, Jim.
Proud of you, Gem.
Good job.
It's on
One right side, one's going far right. I got him.
Yeah, one's on rail.
Backed. Never
Good
mind. I got him.
stop.
I got the
Nothing.
stamper.
One on ramp.
He got me one
That's
shot.
tent.
Just the
They're
10.
weak. They're in the shield. Got him. Wasn't even a bomb.
I hear
Carbon.
Carbon drop left. Got him.
Thank you. There's another one upper left. I think it's sword.
Tent's on right with me.
You know you got
Pushing
someone
in.
good when you kill them so fast.
Oh,
Someone
no.
goes good bomb.
Yeah, hey. Zip's on me.
He's dead.
Oh,
One on ramp.
there's a tent here.
I called it out.
Hold up,
I knew
It's
it
alright,
was
it's
on the
alright.
right, but I didn't know it was like
Sorry.
right behind me.
I'm contesting. You're fine. Just come back in.
Yeah.
There, one flushed into mid. It's
Got
tent.
one.
They're weak. Got
He's hit.
one.
Stay
Machine.
behind shield.
Yeah,
Shield. Nice pick.
Just machine in front. They've got booyah. Be careful.
Booyah.
This booyah. Just leave him alone.
I'm gonna shoot him through the booyah. I missed, but I tried.
Carbon mid.
Oh,
pushing me for no
Carbon, yep,
reason.
they're
I
going.
did
Thank
have them.
you.
There you go.
Zuking.
Stamper's by pillow. He's weak.
I'm gonna inkjet this.
Two there.
Got Stamper.
Got one.
It's alright. 30 down. Push up.
Make
Good
that
job.
3. Carbon there.
Yeah, they're on me. They're down.
Yeah, I've got one installed. Oh, hey, one of them DC'd.
Cool. I have clam economy right now.
10's way
Stamper
back up
dived
the
on
ramp. Okay, I threw one.
One's
to
from
hold.
behind.
you. Stamper behind you. Oh, that's
I got him.
That's the Sunder player toast.
Do you have any
No,
more climbs?
I need to know some.
I am trying to
That's
find
my last
some.
one.
Hold up. I got some. I delayed respawns. There's no more clams after this.
Yeah,
we'll
I've
have to
got
go.
4. I have 4.
I have 4.
Threw one.
Range on its way.
All right.
need- I
that's
have
game.
one more.
We win.
Yeah.
We win. Just
There we
score.
go.
Where's
We
our
need
last one? There it is.
Right there.
I think they just gave up and stood and spawned at the end
they
there.
did. I splatted the tent when they were there. I'm like, oh, they were just standing there. Oops. At least I know I can hit that.
Shit, I didn't change the emotes. Oh well, I changed everything else.
So, Jim, I have a question for you.
All right.
Technically, everyone else can answer this too, but what do you? So I've been saying this for a while to a few of my friends, but I think what's gonna happen is within the next month, some top team is going to realize like there's some extremely broken technique we have just never been using, and I have a call between it being either Alliance Rogue or Starburst, and I want to know who you think finds it first
Okay.
of those teams.
Of those teams.
Of those teams, who do you think finds the new broken thing that shapes the meta forever?
Tough one.
Hmm.
I feel like
I-
they're both
it's like-
capable of it.
Yeah, like, cause Starburst, they're, always labbing and they're just ahead of everyone right now in terms of the theoretical understanding of the game. But also, Alliance Rogue, like, Starburst tends towards playing the safe thing. Like, the thing that's just
Sniper got me.
everybody's gonna be running in Japan.
Grab.
And because, like, that's what's gonna work for the most people, and that's what they tend towards playing.
Crab got me.
Whereas Alliance Rogue, I feel, are going to be more in the lab specifically to try and beat that thing. So it's like they are more incentivized to find something weird, but Starburst, I feel, is more likely to find something weird. I got 3.
I got the
Right.
last one.
Good wipeout. So
I have 6. Give me 2.
I got you.
Basket's not down yet, but we got you.
We're in.
Cool. We have economy.
Oh, that didn't hit. Are you kidding me? I'm so mad.
I
It's
didn't trade.
unfortunate. It's okay. I have power clam. One coming right
One's
side.
hiding
I'm
behind that
lasering
right
him.
block. There you go.
I got him.
I want to look back at that and see why that Zuka missed. That seemed really wacky.
So, honestly, this is actually a kind of a cool subject to talk about, how meta evolution without patches and all that, because I really think we're on the verge of finding something similar to it. And I just kind of want to like spark the thought for anyone watching. So if you don't mind, I'd like to go on a little bit of a tangent.
I'm down. We love tangents on Squid School. I talked about life advice
Jimmy,
for the most part in the video recently.
Yeah, there's two in
There's
front
one
of me,
upside. There's one upside.
Two.
So,
I got one.
basically,
Oh,
for
no,
those of you who are,
frick.
Oh, you picked
for
up the
those
other
of you,
one.
I didn't mean to.
Okay.
for those of you who got into the game in Splatoon 3, welcome to the community. Hope you enjoy your stay. But so there's always kind of been this thing about the older games, specifically Splatoon 2, where we had patches like once every month, and those patches weren't like small patches like you see now. Basically every single patch of Splatoon 2 changed the way that the game functioned at a fundamental level. Because at first it was Baller, and I mean Baller was ridiculous. If you've never played against pre-patch Baller, it's basically, imagine Crab Tank, but instead of shooting a gun, it rolls at you at hyperspeed and then explodes with 47 splat bomb sizing.
Good times.
Yeah, no, I missed that.
Like,
And it was
good, but yet,
and it was like so overtuned that Arrow
Archer's on the
Spray
right,
Gold,
maybe.
the Arrow
I'm
Spray
looking
Gold
left.
was meta.
Yep.
And like that's how overtuned Baller was. So they nerfed it, but the thing is that when they nerfed it, there was like this thing where everyone had no clue what to play because
One on
now
me on the right. I'm getting
all
pinched.
the Baller weapons were like getting pinched off. So then Tri-Slosher became meta. And that weapon was so meta that it basically dominated the game and you would run 3 of them. And so when they nerfed that, another meta was created, and it went so on and so forth until we get about to the point of the triangle meta where Brella becomes really,
missed.
really good.
There's a lot
And
in that
the-
right corner.
Yeah, I see 3. I can't push them. Oh, never mind.
Yeah,
One made a
I'm
mistake.
trying,
I'm pushing
yeah.
all 3 of them now.
Nice. I'm trying to help you.
Got 2.
Yeah.
Got me?
Got 3.
There we go.
Cutting off the left.
Nice.
Yo,
Last one's exposed. No, I want him.
They're
Give me
jumping.
my quad. He jumps. Yeah, unfortunate.
Right behind
One's
this
right-
wall.
Yep, he's right there. He's right there.
I couldn't get him.
So, but yeah, no. Basically, what would happen is everyone would have to constantly adapt to the meta, which was this like unchanging demon, or constantly changing demon. And then what happens is FT Win shows up. And FT Win was revolutionary not because of they made some like hype play or all that. Like of course they did all that. But what FT Win did was they just realized that all this time no one had really been spamming bombs and spamming specials and waiting their turn. And FT Win did that, and it basically just changed the way we play the game forever, because instead of focusing on what was only good at the time or focusing on picks, they just stopped dying. And because they never died, you never had a chance to beat them. So every single time they would fight, they would come in with an armor, and that armor would be followed by another armor. And
Flanking.
I couldn't find him. I don't have any
So-
ink for this.
Splash is left side. Someone help me out on
There's
this.
two. There's two.
I'm talking about the way
FT
FT
Win.
Win changed the game by spamming specials. Someone help me out on this, because I think I got the general idea.
No, I believe that. One's on the.
I got Scrab.
There's one
Alright.
flanking on the right.
I do feel like to some degree the Western scene, like the meta has always just kind of become, here is what the most mechanically skilled players are doing. And I don't know that that's necessarily the way that the game theoretically works, and not just here's the thing that enables the best players to use their
There's a
mechanical
flank
skill
behind
the
us, by the
most.
way.
yeah.
I don't know. But that's sort of a good thing in and of itself, but it's not like, I feel like there's more room for the tactician than like the average FaZe clan member, you know? Like,
oh yeah, no.
we've always gotten the FaZe clan style, the I am just going to out mechanic you kind of top players, where like there aren't that many teams in the Western scene that are willing to actually like lab and try new things. And typically the ones that, because they're so scarce, I feel like the ones who have been the lab monsters that they have tended to end up with comps that are very safe because nobody else is trying anything different. And so they're arriving at, well, here's what I think the best thing is. And there's never any sort of, here's what I want to do to counter the best thing. It's just the best thing goes on a dominant streak for like a year and a half and nobody can beat that team.
Basically. And yeah, no, that's what I'm getting to when I say like FT Win changed that, because that was like Bucket Deco was the best. Everyone played Bucket Deco. If you tried to experiment around it, you got ballered, you died. So they nerfed Sprinkler, they nerfed Baller. Now, what was the next best thing on top? Don't quote me on this. I can't even recall what it was at the time. But basically, when FT Win came into...
Is that the Imperie's meta?
You're right. It was Imperie's meta. But when FT Win came onto the scene, they changed all that, because instead of looking at just like what does each carry weapon do, they're like, hold up, wait, bombs are overpowered. We can just mash these.
And
They got me. They're both weak though.
Got two.
There you go.
The selection of what weapons became good opened up a lot, because now you had, it's like, does this have a bomb? Yeah, no wait, this actually might be super good because it can use that bomb. And that was the junior playstyle, and I got another one.
I'm looking for clams. Okay, I've got a few.
I have one.
Throwing them up.
Okay.
So, and then once FT Win changed that for the game, I think a lot of the game at that
Flash.
point revolved around like staying alive and strategy, and then people realized, wait, hold up, NZAP can do that and kind of fight instead of Junior, which just throws bombs. And then, you know, NZAP was the thing. So I feel like the thing is, we just haven't had our moment with Splatoon. I can't throw this, by the way, unfortunately.
That's alright.
It's all good. Two behind that left pillow.
We haven't had our moment with Splatoon 3 yet, where we just realize, wait, hold up, this is actually really good.
There you go.
And once we have that, I think it will like
Two
warp
on the left
game.
wing. One on the left wing. And one on the right.
I can't push them. I can't push them.
I know. Just letting you know they're there.
I'm pushing left.
All right, I'm with you. Behind you.
Hit him once.
Hit one.
They're one. They're behind you.
Okay, come in.
Nice.
Double left.
One from middle.
User.
Traded
One on
one.
the right.
Got him.
Nice.
Got three down. Behind Sponge. Yep.
One on me on left on the grate.
On the green.
There's three there. I'm gonna try and inch it over.
Got him.
Oh, one's on my
I'm down.
jump.
Take the.
Got
Oh yeah,
that
no.
guy.
You're safe. You're safe. You're safe. You're safe. You're safe. You're safe.
Two at basket. Two at basket.
One over this wall. I can't shoot on him.
I'm blowing.
I got one with a fizzy.
Got one.
Pushing rail. This a purchase clear.
Woo! I
Got
ate a
two.
Zuka. On the ramp one. There you go. I'll gather clams at basket when I jump in.
Okay.
You know what we
Top,
call.
top, right, left.
You know what we call Zukas like that in the stack, Jim?
Zuka's like what?
Zuka plays like that in the stack, where you Zuka, fire one shot, then immediately die for it.
What?
The American Ink Zuka.
Oh my gosh!
Good old America.
Oh, we got
Good
Zuka.
old America. I don't remember how
Never
that
came
term. I don't remember how that term started. I just know one time I was like, I saw a really stupid play and I was like, that Zuka is straight from America, and it stuck.
Forcing
'Cause it was
the
just funny.
clan player. Traded
There
him.
you go.
There's one behind me. They're going for it. They're
I'm gonna
weak.
jump like an idiot.
Got it.
Nice.
Nice.
We need to be more careful with my ink output. Maybe I should run some saver. Or ink consumption.
I'm gonna threaten the left rail.
I
Get
almost
them
have
to look
ink
at me.
jet, and I can just
I'll
pressure
bust
them
the
from
rain.
over top. Whoop.
Okay,
I
we're
got
one
killed
down.
by
Be
bomb.
careful.
Sorry.
Okay,
That's
no
fine.
worries.
Top
Zuka!
left is Zuka.
Right side, right side.
I'm down to
Oh,
ball.
I'm gonna go down. I don't know how I'm not down, but I got somebody.
One pushing in a mid.
Jumping out.
One's in mid, yep.
Debbie, focus on fighting. I'm taxiing you. Oh, never mind. You are dead.
Yeah, that's a Zuka.
Do they know?
Dropping left.
They don't.
What? Okay. That flash
Okay,
must be
we're
correct.
several down. Got the shot. They're looking
What
at
is
me
it
on
with
right.
Flash players and like having the
Two
most
on you.
raw
Yep,
directs.
they're
now.
pushing now.
One.
I got the one
Like
in the
I
wing.
Like I don't know what happened between like 2020 and
I'm down.
2023, But everyone who
Someone on the
still
left.
plays Clash this day now just like
So-
goes for the raw directs.
Time sponge now.
Okay, I have
Hot box.
inkjet.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, you know, the skill ceiling's higher, so they're probably just like, wait, if
got
we just
two.
don't miss,
Left
this
wing,
weapon
I
has a
think.
kill time.
I got.
Probably
I didn't
true.
get the third, but they're right
You're-
above
you're
my
safe,
jump.
you're safe.
Yep, I'm good. I'm moving.
Putting clams over
Man,
the top.
It was so funny.
Ooh, this is every time.
I'm going to jump in pity if we can. No, you're not close
No,
enough.
no,
Never mind.
no, 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 no,
That's
no,
Hold
no.
up.
No.
I don't think they know I'm here. Oh god.
Yeah, I'm just gonna pretend.
They figured out. They figured
I got
out.
one.
They figured out.
I'm down.
One's in the left wing. That's another Zuka shot. Oh my gosh.
Hazuka has it out for you.
They really
They do not.
does.
They do not. They do not like you. I think it's because I called them an American.
They're
How
secretly
dare you.
Canadian. We're having a Canadian standoff.
Got 2. Got 3.
Oh, this is over. Game over. I'm gonna go for a silly play.
Their clam's dead.
But yeah, no, it's like, as of recent, I've started doing a, like, kind of thing with my team where whenever I play Splash, because I play Splash for my current project right now, I don't just let the aggros, like, go and trade for their pick. If they notice they're in trouble, but they want to make this pick, I'll go behind the aggro and I'll be like, hey, I'll taxi you. And basically that means, okay, fight for your pick. The second you want to get out, I already have the paint down on the floor. And it basically turns any risky pick into a safe pick because it's a 2v1, and then when it turns into a 2v2, I can go be a duelist and then still have the ability to paint my partner out. I'm about to scrim. So I'm gonna have to dip.
All right. Yeah, we were about to be over anyway. We'll just play this last one out and then we'll be good.
All right.
But thanks for
Thank you
coming on,
for-
SBPC.
Oh, not a problem. For those of you, hold up. I'm gonna give you an invite. Can you think you can send that in chat for?
Yeah,
you?
absolutely. For you.
Hold up.
Are
I'm
we
gonna
hitting
make-
sleep mode, Jem?
Now let's just play it out. We'll get one lucky rando. We'll get to play with Squid School.
Yeah, one lucky random player.
It's the lottery.
We'll get to play our
But-
double backline comp.
But for those of you who are interested and want to come play a meta where Splash and Machine don't dominate everything, do feel free to join us at. Oh, hold up. That is the.
You might not be able to
usage stats. That is
type it
not-
in the Twitch channel.
That's-
You might need to put it
Yeah, that's why I'm giving it
in
to
my
you.
DMs. Yeah, okay.
You can join us at
I'll get it after I
This is-
respawn.
this Discord server that Jim will send eventually.
Yeah.
And the rules are really simple there. So you join the queue with a simple
one.
button. We play a random zones map.
two.
And it's all counter
Got
picks from
3.
there.
Fourth on
We
me.
have, we have players of all skill levels, all backgrounds. We have pretty active groups at every time zone, so you shouldn't need to worry about making sure you play at a decent hour. All you have to do is go in and have fun.
Fun is mandatory. If you're not having fun, that's illegal.
Yeah, I have gone out of my way to ensure that most of the discussion is friendly and we promote an environment of learning. So if you ever say a bad take, you're not going to get flamed for 7 years because of it.
Only
We'll
1 year.
just, you know,
Everyone did.
no, we don't flame you at all. We make a positive environment.
I know. I'm kidding. I don't know. A little bit. We should bring flaming back into the school system. You know, I feel
No.
like sometimes.
No, I'm not.
All right,
look,
good.
You-
SBC passed the test. I was trying to tempt him.
On the ramp, Jem.
Flaming people
I got him.
is so lame. Flaming
Oh,
people is so
Jamie,
lame.
watch out.
You can't spell flame without
Running
lane.
jet.
True. Actually, true. Wait, hold up. That's genius. Wait, what the hell? Why have I never come up with that? Hold up.
Oh, I hit that. Let's go.
Oh no, I have to find a sub.
Oh, no.
Ruh-roh.
Scrim
Yo, does
fun
any-
times.
Does anyone want to scrim at like a +3 level, preferably in aggro?
I mean, I would, but I have a VOD review to do.
I mean, I could, but I'm not like fully done on machine yet. Like I'm working on rapid and machine on the sidelines, but I don't know if you'd consider that worthwhile at the moment.
Jamie's probably like mechanically more suited to the aggro because he played junior for so long and he has
But
a pretty
it's just-
mechanical one.
It's just committing to being aggro, which is the hard part.
Yeah.
But I mean, I could if you don't find anybody. So just
Here, though.
All right, I'll keep that in mind. Thank you. I'm gonna jump off VC now. You guys have fun.
bye.
All right,
thank
GG's.
you.
Thanks for playing. Traded.
man.
Just brushing my ouch.
There's one behind me too. There's one
Oh.
in our basket, Jamie.
Yeah.
They're trying to get jumps? Question mark?
So,
I don't know what they're doing. I'm gonna go splat their clam if I can. Oh, there's a guy right here.
Yeah, we got the
Or
one in the
not.
berry base. I'm just
Well,
cutting
now
off
there's
left
two on
side.
the right.
Got one. Another one on ramp. They got me.
See him.
Oh my god, I can't throw bombs today. There's one in the bottom left corner here for some reason. Nice.
I'm grabbing clams.
I have 3.
I
Poppy
have
has
6.
3. There's a booyah here.
I have none.
Throw me 2.
Oh, the booyah's on me!
Oh.
They really
Well, you
threw
dropped
that at
me
me.
too.
I did.
Oh, that's a hammer.
Happy birthday.
Hammer's going straight for Jamie.
Yeah, there's, yeah.
Man, Big Poppy took all that time to get 7
There's one more at
clams,
basket. There's
and
one
there
more at
was
basket.
a power clam at basket all along that they never grabbed. Vac is down, 1 in mid, on me left. Got him.
There you go. You don't have 4? 7.
On the round, the sponge.
Machine is
Thank
weak.
you.
A brush.
Charger's gonna be looking at me.
We have a lot of clams. Oh, there's one behind us somewhere.
Ah, I missed the charger.
We're out of ink.
Ooh!
2 more? Probably not.
I'm running from a brush.
Nope. That's why they even said it. Like, you don't do that.
I
bro.
mean, you could have made it. Watch out
Machine
for
was on
whale.
bottom right already.
Whale and hammer.
Machine right here. They're the one with the
Oh,
clam.
I got the hammer.
They're gonna have a booyah.
That's a vacuum.
Flanking in behind. Charger down. Machine down. Nice.
Oh!
Stop.
I looked at the booyah bombs in the face this time. I'm like, okay, leave me alone.
I need to work on clams. I haven't really played all that much in this game compared to like the others.
I was thinking to myself, if I didn't get popular target this game, what? But I got it.
What did I get? I didn't even see. Oh, Splash Sister. Let's go.
I got overall splatter popular target and something else.
I got score. Did I score points? I thought I was only like ferrying the clams that game.
I scored maybe like 3-4 clams. That's about it.
Number 1 Inkstorm.
Super
user.
jump spot. That's what I got.
Number 1 Inkstorm user. Let's go.
All right. Well, we do have one match that we're going to be doing a VOD review of today. There was another person who has been on here before, that one crazy Adrestian dude, TOCAD for short. But I've been unable to get into contact with them, and so if they're around, you know, it'd be good to let me know about that. But I've been searching their name on Discord, I've been looking around, haven't been finding them, and so I wasn't able to get in contact about reminding them for the VOD review today. So, not the end of the world if we, you know, aren't able to do that. You know, we do have one to do anyway, and there's some other stuff to be talking about. But for now, I am going to go and plug in a VOD review for Shreepa. And we're going to take a look at this. I believe it is a Splatfest match. R6 T MB1H. If I get this wrong, it is user error. B1H STKF. because I'm kind of squinting at the screen to see it, and so I might be getting one of these incorrect, but hopefully we got it the first time.
I'm an old man now.
There it is, perfect. Ooh, a carbon deco. This should be fun.
This looks familiar. Have we seen something from Shreepa before?
I don't think I've done
Maybe
a
it's
VOD
just-
review for...
I've seen Shreepa before,
Okay.
but I recognize the tech. Anyway, have fun.
Thanks. Oh, this is... Okay, so it's not a Splatfest match. This is actually, Turf War. Or, I mean, why did I say that again? Same thing. I said the same thing. It's not this. It's same thing I just said. Tower Control. The other one that starts with a T. We're playing Tower Control in Ranked here. And we've got a really unfortunate team to be playing this weapon with. Wow. They really gave Double Blaster to a weapon that also doesn't paint well for itself. So that's super unfortunate. There's also not a lot of range there. In fact, your Burst Bomb is the longest ranged thing that your team really has in terms of something you can rely on in a typical engagement. So this is really weird. You do have double Zuka, so that's going to help you open things up. If you get picks with the Zukas, then you can probably, you know, get something going running in, but I don't know. The playstyle here for the Carbon is really fun, because you get to, like, shark around on all of the ledges and come from angles that they don't expect and be a bit of a jump scare all the time. So it's a great, like, map for this. Is just the team, you'd prefer to have a lot more paint going along with this so that you are able to sneak up from more places. It's hard to be sneaky when they see you coming, and paint helps you not be seen coming. So hopefully this NZAP knows that they have 3 weapons that all really need its help to paint, and that they will spend a lot of their time painting. The Super Chumps actually might help a little bit because they can provide a little bit of concealment. It's not anywhere near, you know, the best special out there, but it is something that you can use as an aggressive weapon when it goes out there. It might take a shot for you, it might make it harder to see you, that sort of thing. So, great kind of little forest to shark around in. Man, the Rapid and the Dually Squelchers are going to be a pain in the butt, though, because they outrange everything on your team. So they can kind of just bully as long as they have good open sight lines. You really need to kind of get up around those. You need to flank them somehow, come up from under a ledge or something. Because if you're able to, if they're able to keep you on an open sight line with them, you kind of just lose. Same deal with the Wiper there. Like, all 3 of those weapons have pretty crummy kill times. Like, their DPS is actually garbage, but because they have such range and 2 of them are extremely mobile, it's going to be really hard for you to even get in range in the first place to do your damage and do it faster than they can. So, this should be a tough one on paper, but we'll see how it plays out. What about Tricolor Turf War? It also starts with a T. It also starts with a T. That was the point of the joke. Okay, let's skip back for just a second here. So, going up the wall. I will say this. I am a huge Squid Surge hater. I think that the vast majority of Squid Surges that you see outside of competitive play are a bad idea. Squid Surge is a slower way to get up a wall. It is a way that forces you to stay in the air for longer, which is a more vulnerable position. And I do not think that the armor that you get from it is sufficient to overcome that fact. Because the amount of extra time that you spend in the air, you're able to fire more than one shot at someone while they're doing that. So you're basically just giving them more time to shoot you. Yes, they have to hit one more shot, but they've got more than one shot's worth of time to fire that one shot. So I think it is just generally a better idea to mash the B button as you're going up a wall, to ledge cancel on the way over the top, and get back down with your feet on the ground faster, rather than going up in the air for that long. That's something I should probably make a video about at some point. I'm going to make a quick note about that. Okay. There we go. There we go. Tamanton? Oh my god. Tetra themed? What do you mean Tetra themed? We're just making up things that start with a T now. So a little bit of trouble here, just getting the paint up and over the ledge, and like getting your feet painted and stuff, which like totally understandable. This game has some very weird little arbitrary stuff like that you just kind of figure out over time. It's like, it reminds me. This is a really weird comparison out of left field, but I feel like there's a lot of little stuff like this that is very similar to Dark Souls, in that it's just some weird janky little thing that over time you get used to, and therefore it isn't weird anymore. But for someone who's, you know, getting used to the game, it is very weird and jarring and can put them off trying to play it. And I think the painting patterns of some weapons are like that, where like, how are you supposed to know exactly where the paint is going to land when you flick the roller? Like whether it's going to land at your feet or not, whether it's going to paint that one thing you're trying to paint. Like, I don't know. How are you supposed to know which direction you're supposed to wander in Dark Souls, besides realizing that it's really hard and that maybe there's an easier way someplace else? I don't know. Dark Souls is still one of the greatest games of all time, and I love Splatoon, but sometimes there are little weird things like this you gotta get over, so. So we're staying pretty far back and using the burst bombs to try and paint our way in, which makes some sense. This is like a really safe way to play, in the sense that you're not going to get splatted immediately for trying to do this. This is also not the way that a Carbon Deco typically plays. Typically, a Carbon Deco is going to immediately move into very aggressive positions. They're not going to give their opponents time to figure out where they are. They're just going to pick a flank and like either go for it or threaten it and make sure that they can, you know, get out if they have to, but that's about the most they're going to wait. The way that we're playing here, where we're sitting back and like throwing bombs and waiting for something to happen, is a little bit more similar to something like a Splash, or even like the Rapid Blaster or something. They're gonna like stay at the back for a second and then slowly move in, whereas the Carbon, a lot of the time, it just kind of goes for it. It'll like get in there into an awkward position, and then as soon as it sees anybody, it just eats them. There's another thing that we want to do is not come from the front, not come from the objective line. I'll talk about that a little bit later if that seems to be a pattern in how we're playing, but that's another aspect of this that will make your job a lot easier, sneaking up on people. The Dark Souls of post-apocalypse. Oh my god, yeah, I forgot about that meme. That meme got so tired. That meme got so old so quickly, and people just kept on making it. Okay, let's back up for a second. Make sure you have an area of paint behind you when you go in. The Rapid on the other team, they will force you to back up. If they see you, I feel if the Rapid is aware of your position as a Carbon roller, I feel like you're not doing your job. That's my take. But okay, so this spot right here, the wall is already painted. So we don't need to paint it more with this burst bomb. What we do need to paint if we're going to get there quickly is our feet. And so I would have thrown that burst bomb at your feet here just to get through it a little quicker. But you do manage to make it through. Now, the Squid Surge here, I'm going to make another argument that I don't like Squid Surge. When we Squid Surged, we were far down enough on the wall that we couldn't see that the area above the wall was painted entirely orange. By the time we're realizing that, we're already up in the air over the top of that ink. And so we're just going to land in it and get our feet stuck, and it's going to be hard to move, and they're going to see us. We do get like a single line painted, but then notice how much orange ink there is. We end up landing in that orange ink. And when you're in enemy ink, you can't jump as high, and it will prevent you from getting over this ledge. That's what's happening here. The problem is not that the wall isn't painted. The problem is that your feet aren't painted, and that will prevent you from actually being able to get up onto this wall. Because another thing that happens when you're in enemy ink is that it forces you out of squid form. It forces you to start standing up and walking. And so you can't stay in squid form to get on the wall unless you are already in midair as you hit the wall. And so it can make it really difficult if you're in this kind of a position to get up over that ledge. So you've got to be in your own ink if you're going to try and get there. And so the painting that you're trying to do here, it needs to be aimed at your feet so that you can use that ink to get up over the top. From here, we are pushing into a position where we're at a pretty significant disadvantage. There's a lot of orange ink, for one thing. I think there's already somebody down as well on our team. Yeah, there's someone down right now. Another player goes down here. So right now, it's a 2v4 situation. I know that in part because of the X's on the screen, the purple X's that are showing me my teammates went down. There's actually a little flash. It's a very short one. I'll try and highlight it here. I think this player goes down to the hammer. Yeah. Oh man, it's already over. This is a very fast animation, so it's hard to pinpoint, but I'll see if I can get it. Ugh, man. I actually had it, but I didn't freeze it fast enough. Man, it's like literally just a few frames, but it is a big flash across the screen that happens. I keep pressing it too many times. I'm so bad at this. Okay, one sec. We'll get it. We'll get it. Okay, here we go. So notice in the upper left, that really big X that's appearing across the weapon there, that little flash, that little flicker, it'll just register as, oh, something moved over there. But that actually does a really good job of like letting you know that something's just happened that you might want to be aware of. When you see that little flicker, just note in your head, oh, one of my teammates just went down. And recognize that at this point, you now don't really want to take any hard committed engagements. If you see someone who's isolated and you can just like sneak up on them and it's a 1v1 and you're not going to get traded back for it, fine, grab them. But most of the time at this point, you're playing to stall and threaten rather than to go all the way in because you're just not going to have the numbers to do it. And at this point, I believe the player on our right here is going to go down. And they're off screen. So notice what happens when they're off screen. Right underneath the enemy's third checkpoint indicator on the heads-up display here, you've got this purple X that's starting to form, and there's this grayish-white ink splatter in about the same color as the flicker that happens on top of the screen when players get splatted, when they get that X. These flickers show you that something important has happened, and they're really fast. Because, like, it's already gone, right? But it's enough that you can kind of notice that, like, oh, wait, something's... oh, shoot, our teammate went down. It's something there just to, like, flash to jar you out of whatever it is you're focusing on. Those are two things that you want to get really accustomed to being able to see. Because what happens now is we're in a 2v4 situation where 3 of them have specials and none of us do. And what we do is effectively dive into enemy ink and swing a whole lot when we don't know where our target is because we're just trying to paint our feet. And that makes it so that we're outnumbered, we're in the midst of a whole bunch of enemy activity, and we're making ourselves really visible right in the direction that the enemy team wants to go. So at this point, I want to talk about the objective line a little bit. This is a concept that I talk about in videos and stuff all the time. And I think it will be really illustrative here to explain a way that you could be getting a lot more out of the capabilities of the carbon roller. So I'm just going to get the correct map mode set up here, and then we're going to switch over, and we're going to hope that it's showing the right thing instead of the wrong thing. That'd be really cool if it was doing that. All right, cool, it is showing the right thing. You love to see it. You love to see it. So let's get this stretched out a little bit so that it's more visible. Okay, there we go. And boink, there I am. Hello, it is me, Mr. Gem Squid School, sir. I am here. Where is Restream chat? There they are. All right, here's the chat. Not that they deserve to be here, but no, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Don't leave. We've got Flounder Heights from an overhead view here, and what I want to talk about is the tower path, because this is the simplest version of what I like to call the objective line. God, that got gross as I went on. So I'm just going to leave it there on screen instead of letting my drawing overlay it. The objective line is the path that the enemy team has to travel in order to push the objective progressively further and further. So in this mode, it's really simple, because the objective is get this tower as far as possible on this line. You want it to just go all the way to the end of the line. And if you're losing, then it will be pushed towards your end of the line instead. So on this line, you're going to have players trying to establish control of the area in front of it, because the tower is going to move this way, right? We may have control of the tower for now. We may be able to stop someone on the enemy team from entering this area around the tower to keep them from stopping the tower rider. But at some point, the tower's not going to be here anymore. Tower is going to be here. And when that happens, if the area that we control is just like here, now the enemy team can just get really close to the tower, shoot this guy off it, and there's nothing that you're going to be able to do because you're not getting in that player's way. So you need to keep this zone around the tower safe, and as the tower moves, you need to move this zone with it. So in tower control, when the enemy team has control... oh, shoot, sorry about that. I accidentally scrolled, and that messed things up. Let's see. I'm trying to unmess things up. There we go. I unmessed things up. Perfect. So when the enemy team has a numbers advantage, when they have control, when there's a lot of paint around this area, there are a number of different things you can notice to see, okay, the enemy team is about to start pushing the tower. This circle is an area that's going to turn dangerous pretty quickly. As soon as they're on the tower and it's, past mid, they're going to start looking at this kind of area right here. This is the area where the tower is going to have to pass through, and so this is the area that their players are going to start trying to push into and get you out of so that you can't shoot at the tower rider and the tower can just go through safely. Now, what you can do is use the objective line to your advantage. Because you're a weapon, remember, that has very, very short range, but has a very fast kill time if you get right on top of someone. So you don't want to be seen. If someone on the enemy team is right here, and you just run at them from this direction and try to come up the wall, you're probably going to get stopped. It's very easy to stop you from doing that, because you're stuck on a wall where all you can do is squid roll off. You can't use your attack while you're stuck to the wall, and you can't move very fast while you're on the wall either. So as soon as someone shoots you off the wall, you're just in a lot of trouble, and you're going to drop down, and you're not going to be able to reach anything. And it's just all bad news. Also, the entire time you're approaching that wall, they're going to be able to see you really easily because there's a wide open space. There's no cover. There's nothing to hide behind. All you've got is the ink that got put down to get you there, and a lot of the time you're going to have to paint your way forward. So it's really difficult to sneak through this kind of area, get up the wall, and get on top of someone who's right here and stop them. But what might work better is, since, the objective line dictates what they have to control, it also dictates what they're very likely to look at. So if the tower's right here, then yeah, they're probably going to be looking this way, which means they might not be looking this way. A really common thing for a frontliner to do in a situation like this, where the tower is just starting to move through mid, and it still has all of this to go through before it's through, and our team is down, is maybe to try and drop out here, or to try and drop out from this way, and come up to the tower from a direction that the enemy team won't be looking. Because if you come up from this way, and they're over here worried about, moving this circle in this direction, they're going to be looking this way. They're going to be looking the wrong way, and you'll have their backs. And that gives you an opportunity to get on top of them while they're not looking. So, just to take this path and illustrate it really quickly and point something out about it, what you're really doing is you're playing off the objective line. You're playing in a way that puts you as far away as possible from the objective line before it brings you back to the objective line. This stuff right here is irrelevant. And so the enemy team's not going to worry about it, and they're not going to stop you from going through there. This position is relevant, but if they think they've already, gotten past that, they might not be looking at it. So you're using what the enemy team needs to be looking at next against them so that you can come from someplace else. So far, we've had 2 fights. One of them was right here, and one of them was right here. Notice how those are directly on the tower path, and the tower was here when you took this fight, and it was here when you took this fight. We're going straight at the tower from the direction that the enemy team is going to expect us to come from. So even if they don't have great awareness, they're probably still going to see us coming because you're going in the direction that they're most likely to look. Instead, what you want to be doing is finding ways to get around that. And so maybe you come through here, come up this wall, get behind them. Maybe you go around this way and come up this wall. Maybe if they're not seeing, you find some way to get to this side and then come up this wall and come up behind them like this. When they're in the middle of the map, then you can do all sorts of crazy things by hopping across to here and sneaking around the side here, and maybe you come up from over here and come from behind them. Maybe you come up from here and they're looking this way, and so you catch them that way. There are a lot of different ideas on this map for how to approach them in ways that don't just involve forcing your way forward across the objective line, and you'll want to use those because the carbon roller is simply not the best weapon at the game at pushing in the direction of the objective line. There are other weapons that will outrange you and stop you from doing that. There are other weapons that will paint better so they can maneuver forward through enemy ink to get there. There's a weapon like the Tetradualies that can dive into enemy ink, and so it doesn't need to worry about who has paint control. There are a lot of different ways that you can push forward like that, but the carbon roller doesn't really want to use those. The carbon wants to be flanking. The carbon wants to be encircling the enemy team, coming from angles they're not expecting. And so I'm going to be pointing out, some alternatives to ways that you can be pushing from what we're seeing here in this game. But that is probably going to be the majority of what I'm talking about, I would predict, for most of this match here, based on what I've seen so far. So, we end up getting stopped there in part because there is an enemy numbers advantage, in part because we're coming from a predictable direction. We've exposed ourselves, we've shown ourselves by flicking the roller a lot, and that's really visible, Someone starts swinging a big paint roller around in the game of Splatoon, a lot of people are going to pay attention because they're scared of it. So we want to get in, get close enough to whomp someone real quick, and then get out and be a phantom in the night, be an assassin. We don't want to announce ourselves. So here we do actually paint our feet with this. It looks like we've been, using the burst bomb a lot when we run into issues where we need to paint. We're just not, like, aiming down enough to be able to actually paint that stuff. And there we go. If you don't have the ink for a burst bomb, a vertical flick, a jump flick, is going to be the best way to go about it. Also, when you're painting, I would attend to the paint that's at your feet first. And it's for a reason that we're, about to see fighting against the Rapid Blaster here. Your feet are the most important thing to paint, because if you have your feet painted, you can start moving immediately. If you don't have your feet painted, you may have something that you can swim into later that will let you move faster once you get there, but the getting there is the hard part. Because if you're getting shot at, if you're, if the Rapid Blaster is on top of you right now, the worry is not, will I be able to move once I move a full burst bomb's distance away? It's, can I move right now at all? Can I dodge these shots? Can I make them miss? And you can only do that if you have your feet painted. So focus on getting your feet painted first and having the paint in front of you afterward. Rapid Blasters are a very good weapon when they know where you are and they have line of sight on you, at never letting you get anywhere near them. And here is a good kind of exposure of the weakness of squid surging. They know that you're locked onto that trajectory and they can follow you through the air and pick you out of the sky from it. And since you were already damaged, they just hit a direct and they're good to go. So, good jump in. We've got, okay, hold on. Who did we jump to? I thought that was going to be safe. And then we landed a lot further forward than I thought it was going to be. So we go down there. Oh, okay, so we jumped to the player who's in mid instead of the player who's behind mid. No, wait, we do jump to that player. Okay. Gotcha. So we jump into a player, and in the process of us jumping, they actually move way further forward onto the map, and that puts us right next to an enemy player. Now, it is actually possible for you to win this engagement if you spot that you're about to land pretty hot from the air and start readying a swing on your way down. Because a roller, it's got that long startup time, right? But you can actually start the startup time before the flick comes out in midair before you land during a super jump. So you land, and if you're close enough to someone, can deal one-shot damage basically as you're landing before any shooter is going to have time to be able to splat you. Especially not like a Splatana Wiper here, which isn't going for the one-shot. So this is a fight where, as long as they're damaged a little bit, and I think they are because your team has been fighting them so far, you probably do just one-shot them with like a vertical flick on the way down here, if you swing and go for it. But that takes a certain degree of camera movement on your way up. You want to like have your camera panned so that you can see that player that you're about to land in front of and get your aim on. And then once you land, you've got to get your aim back to eye level, so if you've been looking down at them from the sky, that you don't just like fire your shot straight down into the ground. So it takes a little bit of practice to be able to get that sort of thing down, but just try practicing that. I would say like every time you super jump. Every time you super jump in, and it's a relatively safe one, just like put out an attack in a direction that you're imagining there's an enemy player, and see if you would have hit that, and use that to kind of practice that skill. Nice, we got a wipe there. So team cleans up around us, and so now what we want to be doing is, like I was talking about earlier, setting up in front of the tower, so that when people try to run at the tower, you can sneak up on them and catch them. There are a lot of blind corners that they're going to want to run around just to run straight at the tower from here. And if you, as a roller, set up sharking near one of those blind corners, that is, hiding in your ink and then jumping out of them as soon as they come past, that's not really a thing that sharks actually do. I guess that's the whole Jaws idea, but don't flounders do that? There's like the, what is it called? A trapdoor spider, I think. So there's a bunch of Venus flytrap, I guess. You're basically just an ambush predator here as the carbon deco, and you're skulking around a corner waiting for something to unsuspectingly move by you. We don't want to. So a lot of the time that you've spent running there is time that you could have spent swimming. Swimming is going to be faster than rolling with the roller. As long as it's painted. So you don't want to be rolling with the roller unless there's stuff that you specifically need to be painting through to get there. That would have enabled you to get around here faster so that you could be peeking around this corner sooner, seeing the enemy players moving towards you, and getting ready to fight them before they're in position and they see you. Because you can see that Tenatech player, they saw that you were coming before you had a chance to figure out where they were. And if you got there faster, you would have had a chance to, get the lay of the land and figure out where they're coming from before they're able to shoot you. You also would have been able to set up and just kind of wait to ambush them somewhere instead of them seeing you walking. It's a lot harder to see you swimming, especially if you run something like Ninja Squid. So because they wouldn't have seen you, they wouldn't have had as easy of a time spotting you out and catching you from longer range. We jump back in. Now, this is a really dangerous jump, I would say, because 3 members of our team had just gone down. And so now that we're respawning, it's just this one player who's left alive. And that'll make it so that if the enemy team has any idea where they are, or even if this player just stays on the objective line, the enemy team is naturally going to move forward and try to run at them. And you don't want them running at you when you're super jumping in, because that's how they find your arrow, and that's how they just camp it and put a bomb on it or something. Nice. Okay, so we land, and we actually do catch this player. It looks like we are trying to swing at them as we come down from the air, and we do manage to hit them off the tower, which is awesome. Now this player gets right on top of us, and a little bit off on the movement there, I think, because they were on the right-hand side, and we started swinging at the left-hand side of the tower, so they had a little bit more time to get away off the tower. But we do threaten them off, and we're going to force them away, and we're actually going to delete their wave breaker with the tower here, which is cool. I would definitely go after this torpedo right now. We want to get rid of that before it can make contact with us, so it doesn't paint our feet and do damage to us. Nice job, we get it. And ooh, that was a little weird and laggy, but we did delete the wave breaker, but then the rapid blaster gets rid of us. The rapid blaster is going to be a consistent problem here for you if they see you. You do not want to be seen by this weapon because it has so much more range than you. It can hit you around corners and ledges. It's not as afraid of you as other weapons on their team should be. And so you want to make sure that you know where that is when you're trying to engage or anything so that it can't just catch you out. If you just try to stand on tower and the rapid is alive and nobody's pushing it out of the way, it's just going to clear the tower reliably pretty much every time. So we super jump in, and this is a really aggressive super jump, but it ends up working out, and we're able to get them. Better job jumping over the ledge that time. Good job getting that movement down after practicing it the once. So you see on the rail to your left how there are splashes at the tip of the rail here? That means that there's someone inside that rail waiting to jump out. When it like balls up like that, there's someone in there and you could just swing at them and hit them from here. Just like that. At this point, you're too far away to be able to hit them, and you probably would have needed a vertical flick even then, but even so, we got it. Now, what happens here is we go down 2 players down, and it feels like we're having trouble tracking like where the enemy players are, where they're coming from, because we're not looking in the direction of the players that are threatening us. If the player on the left-hand side, for example, who came off the rail, has not gone down yet, if we haven't seen them get splatted either from the top of the screen or that X showing up or whatever else, then we need to worry about that because they could come up from behind the tower. And so that's a threat to us. If that's the nearest player to us, then we want to be looking at that to make sure that they're not going to sneak up. But if there's, a torpedo coming from the right-hand side, then we also want to be looking at that. And it feels like right now we're kind of just I don't know. There's a lot of things happening. I'm just going to look at the tower and make sure it's painted and try to stay on it. When you feel like overwhelmed like that, like, I'm just gonna... Anytime you're saying to yourself, I'm just gonna, try to resist that impulse. Because getting overwhelmed and deciding to, like, focus just on one thing is going to prevent you from collecting information from other sources. This is something that, again, like, it's one of those things that new players in particular are going to have more trouble with, than... the more you play, the better you're going to get about collecting more and more information, because more and more of it is going to become habit. More of it is going to become second nature to you, and so you're going to have to think less about doing the things you used to struggle with. So that will all come with time. But with any situation where you're feeling overwhelmed, try to keep your brain engaged. Try to fight against that. Try to keep your brain collecting information and get as much in there as you can possibly process. Because the more you're thinking, the more informed those decisions are going to be, the more you're going to be able to resist tunnel vision now and in the future, and the better your likelihood is of figuring out what the right thing is to do at that time. So we got a player right underneath us that we're recognizing. They're just squid bagging. They're not actually shooting at you or anything. That was weird. So you swing at them, but you're at a range where you're missing. And something that you'll want to work on is, if you're missing shots, don't just keep firing shots. Adjust your aim instead in between shots, and then fire again. The roller has a very big commitment, a very big wind-up. When you press the ZR button, you are going to be doing this whole motion with your hands for a pretty good amount of time. Whereas with something like a shooter, for example, some of those things, you fire a shot and you're able to do something else in like a tenth of a second. It's very, very fast. Not so with the roller. The roller, when you swing, you're going to be in that animation for a while, so you want to make sure that it's counting. And if it ends up not counting, you want to be like, wait, why did that not hit? And you want to adjust your aim, or pick the vertical flick instead to get more range or something, or even just move because you realize I've given my position away and I don't really have shots anymore, and staying here is just going to get me splatted. Like, any of those options are good ideas, but if you keep swinging over and over again without hitting anything, then you're locking yourself into an animation that's going to leave you more vulnerable. And something like this Rapid Blaster is going to be really good at taking advantage of that, because it can hit you at a range where you can't hit it. And so it, I believe, is what takes you out here, yes. Alright, so we end up going down. 29 is not a bad push at all on this map. Like, they have to get through multiple checkpoints here, and you have the potential to be able to stop them from doing that, but... Okay, so from here, again, we do the thing where we're rolling with the roller. The more experienced you get, the less the rolling with the roller is going to work, because it's visible, it's slower than swimming, and it makes it harder for you to get in position to go up to people and sneak up on them and hit them with that ambush flick. That is what this weapon is really good at. This is a dangerous position to stay in. The Rapid Blaster is firing at your position, and as soon as they get their aim on, it's going to paint your feet, and you're not going to be in range to be able to get close to them, and now you have nothing you can do. So as soon as they start firing over here, you've got to move somewhere. Like, as soon as that shot comes over here, you've got to be worried, because you can only take so many of these, and you don't have time to push closer to them to start doing damage with your weapon before they're going to have finished you off. So, again, you want to get off this line. You don't want to just stand where you've been. You don't want to, like, try to return fire from there. You want to just, like, move left or right and get someplace else, find another angle. Notice that, again, you're right where they're likely to be looking as they push the tower. You're in line with the tower path, with the objective line here. Alright. Teammates end up cleaning it up. So now we're going to jump in all likelihood. Yep. And notice how, again, we're playing, like, right here with the tower. Typically on a coordinated competitive team, you will specifically, like, have it as the plan for something like a carbon roller never to be taking the tower if they can help it. Reason being, because you do so well at ambushing, because you're such a strong weapon at splatting people, you're actually going to push up well in front of the tower, and you're going to let somebody else ride it instead. As time goes on, you'll have more and more frontline weapons get on the tower, or get off the tower and push up in front of it. Just realized that I didn't set the camera up right here. As time goes on, you're going to have more and more frontline weapons just get off the tower and push up in front of it instead of staying on. And that's going to be more and more successful. Another issue with it is that it again, you know, being on the tower puts you in the most visible place. Everybody in the game knows that you are on the tower because there are big letters that appear on screen that tell them that you're on the tower. So they know that you're somewhere on that very small square of land, and if you play a rapid blaster, it doesn't matter which side of that square you shoot at. The AoE, the area of effect damage from the indirect at the end of that shot, is going to reach around the pillar and hit both sides. So they're really, really reliable at being able to clear the tower off, and if there's nobody keeping them away from the tower, they're just going to splat you for riding the tower every time. So your job is not to ride the tower, your job is to get people away from the tower so that it's safe to ride. Now that said, in solo queue, there are going to be some times where nobody gets on the tower, and it's time to get on the tower, and so you're the only person to do it. Sometimes that's going to happen, and, you know, recognizing that is not a bad thing and going for it. There are exceptions to every rule, but it shouldn't be your first plan to just hop on the tower right away and stay on that line and be in the most predictable spot. This right here is actually a really good potential ambush, because this player who's coming around the corner can't see you at all. And so if you just swim up the ramp and stay submerged, you don't throw the burst bomb, you don't try to paint or anything, you just stay in the ink right here. Instead of throwing that burst bomb, they'll walk around the corner, they won't see you at all, they'll fire a bunch of shots, you'll have all the time in the world to line your shot up, and then you press the ZR button once and they're down and there's nothing that they could have done about it. There's no reaction that they can have that's fast enough. But because we threw that burst bomb in front of them, now they know there's something here, and they're going to start shooting at you. And so at that point, once you see that they're there, you don't want to sit back and throw burst bombs, because they outrange you. From here, you can't hit them with a horizontal flick and splat them immediately. If you'd moved forward, then you would have been close enough to them, and you could have done that. That's just generally the position you want to be in any engagement. You splat so quickly that you don't care if they get a quick opportunity to do a little bit of damage to you, because you're going to do way more damage in one hit. And so you splat them quicker, and you want to be going for those kind of like really, really, really close engagements. If they give that to you by accidentally walking around a blind corner like this, then you want to take that, and you want to get right up on top of them and just swing the roller once and be done with it. But instead, you try to rely on the burst bombs, and that can work, but you need to hit 2 of them, and if your aim is off, then it's going to be a lot more challenging. You did just run by an enemy player. The dualies who got you before, they just rolled right past you on the screen. So I'll show you that again really quick. So we can see them first of all. They're out in front of us right underneath the orange wave breaker, shooting up at the tower. So that's the first place I saw it. We don't jump over the wave breaker here, so we're going to make ourselves visible. We always want to be jumping over that. It's especially important as an ambush weapon so that you can maintain your stealth. And there's the dualies. You can see their head at the bottom left of the screen. They roll by you, and because we weren't scoping out where enemy players were before we jumped in, we didn't notice that at all, and now they could just shoot us in the back if they want to. I don't really know what happened to them over there, but All right. So we are able to just walk this player down here. They get much too close to us, and that is, a good illustration of how you want to be fighting against the Rapid Blaster. Not necessarily in the positioning leading up to it, but if you get close to them, it's way harder for them to do quick damage to you than it is for you to do quick damage to them. So your goal should always be to get close to them. Now, I don't think you were exactly very stealthy about the way that you got close to them there. You could have come from a different angle. You could have tried to swim through ink instead of rolling. There are a lot of things that gave you away early on. You missed a few shots too. But at the end of the day, you got close to them, and that's where you have an advantage over that weapon. So enemy players on the back of the tower here. And we're trying to clear them out. It looks like we think that they're below here. They actually jumped up. So they're not where we think they are anymore. Only player up is the Wiper, and they threw a hammer from underneath. If you know the weapon kits, then you can kind of see, all right, it's only this player who's alive, and I also know that that's the weapon that it is because they're the only weapon on their team that has an Ultra Stamp. So we know that that's who I have to look out for. One of the things that I also want to get you thinking about is camera control, because in this engagement here, we don't see this player, even though we could have seen them coming if we'd had the camera turned differently. Right now, we have our back to the enemy team. The direction the enemy team is most likely to come from is behind us, and we don't have a very good view behind us because we don't have eyes on the back of our heads. So what we want to be doing is, as soon as we get the control of the tower, as soon as we get the paint we need, we want to be turning our camera around and looking for this last player so that we see that coming. That was actually a really good idea to try and flick down and hit them like that. Once we missed the second one, though, we want to be moving. We don't want to just keep spamming it like we talked about earlier. Because now, because we've spent all this time flicking at someone who's not there anymore, they've had time to get behind us, and they actually get the splat before they go down. So that is a really good illustration there of why firing repeatedly, even after you're missing, is going to cause you some problems in your engagements. So hopefully that has given you a good number of things to work on. I'd say biggest things to worry about are get your feet painted, stay off the objective line and try to be stealthier, run around with the roller down less so that you're less visible, play for ambushes, and instead of trying to ride the tower, try to clear the area in front of the tower so that your teammates can push it safely instead. Since we've got a little bit of time, I'm going to go and play a round of the Carbon Deco myself so I can illustrate a little bit of this. Where is my Carbon Deco? Wrong roller. Okay. We're going to do it this way. There. I'm gonna probably go with more swim speed because with the Carbon, if you get into a fight, you're probably anticipating that you're going to at least trade, hopefully. So that's the theory here. Oh man, and I'm picking a map. This is a couple of maps where it's very hard to find hiding places per se, so maybe quick respawn would have been a better idea, but another thing that I don't see you using a ton is so first of all, horizontal flicks, that's if you jump, it's going to give you more range, and it's going to do more consistent damage. So like, this right here does 42, but a jump swing from there does like 90. Yeah, 97. So if you need the extra range, jump swings are what you want to be doing. If you need even more range than the jump swing can provide, you have burst bombs. And those combo pretty well. So if you hit this really weak horizontal flick, tagging them with a burst bomb afterwards might just finish the splat, and that would be a good way to combo those. It's going to be faster than doing 2 flicks at once. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to try and take the route that takes me off the objective line. I'm going to move around and drop the left-hand side and see if I can get my way in here before anyone sees me coming. They're looking for me here. If they don't see me. Got him. And that's kind of what you're hoping to do. You're trying to sneak up on someone, and that person was even expecting I was here. I'd probably go down to this because they're playing outside my range. That was a good play by them to back up. But you're trying to get in, like, behind someone, or from the side of someone, somewhere where they can't really see you very easily, and then get an ambush play off as a result of that movement. So right here, they don't see me because they just smoke screen themselves with the tri-strike. Unfortunately, I missed a shot, and so they were able to get me there. We don't have a lot of paint for me to work with right now, which is making this a little bit difficult. Part of it is also just these aren't the best maps to be playing this weapon on because there are so few flank routes and sneaky ways to get in. But there, you see how fast I splatted that player with the combination of the burst bomb and the horizontal flick? That's one of the major advantages of this weapon. In Splatoon 2, this weapon was even more dangerous because since it was a two-shot, it splatted someone through armor, and it splatted them through armor quicker than just about anything else. Ooh, almost got him there. I'm going to just kind of run away over here and waste some time because they have a lot of control right now of the map. And if they're dealing with me, then at least they're not scoring. I'm also going to try and shark and, like, cut them off when they try to go for more clams to bring them to the basket, because that will stop the score sooner. Like, this player right here can't bring the clams that are down here into play. There, I'm using the roll to get myself out, but notice that I switch to swimming really quickly once I have access to my own color ink. We're not having a lot of success here, unfortunately. There's not a lot of paint on the ground in general, which makes it harder and harder as time goes on for me to get plays, because there are fewer places I can be hiding in. And as you can see, I'm not painting an awful lot for myself. Just that's part of the nature of the weapon, unfortunately. Okay, we probably could have splatted that player while they were getting me, but... There we go. 2 down. Overall, good defense. They're not going to get anything out of this in all likelihood. Drop down here. They're really coming after me, but I was able to get one as they came around the corner. See, sometimes it doesn't even matter that they know you're there, because if you're able to get on top of them, you still win that fight anyway. But not being seen helps you get close to them, because somebody who knows you're there is a lot less likely to give you that opportunity. Woof! That required me to break my wrists a little bit, but we're good. Oh, if that vertical flick had hit, I would have had him, and I would have been able to score a little bit more, but... We did not hit it. They did a good job backing up around cover, so it didn't work out. Okay, we've got this player cut off. There's not a lot of paint behind them that they can use. And now they've made the mistake of getting close to me. Unfortunately, the horizontal didn't actually kill at that range. I thought it would. Might just be my aim, too. Not a weapon that I tend to play a lot, so there'll be some technical limitations there. The Bloblobber is a real pain in the butt because it's painting a lot and we're not painting a lot, and so I don't have places to move. And it's just kind of gradually locking in space that we would like to be able to use to hit stuff with the roller. Okay. So we're going to at least have an overtime, and we have a pity clam to work with. What I'm going to try and do here is start pushing up really aggressively and see if I can get into... We didn't stop that. Okay. Because with as little time as we had and as far back as we were on the map, I wanted to be able to give us a super jump and maybe get the power clam in that way. But yeah, the name of the game there was that we just didn't have any paint to work with. So it's really hard for our weapon to function in those conditions. There's just not as many places we can hide. Not as much that we're going to be able to do under those circumstances. We'll try one more. See if we can get a slightly better result there. Welcome, Olivia Lilac. Good to have you. And GG Noma and GG Zinky. Oh man, this is... Well, if we get Mako Mart, this is good. If we get Mincemeat, it's very not, but... You know, what's life without a little bit of risk? Yep. So now the entire lobby who was there is, you know, recognizing that they were in a match with Gem Squid School and coming to say hi in the chat. Welcome, everybody. That's what, half of the lobby right now? On the fence if I should get Splatoon 3. Been wanting to get into Splatoon, but I'm new to joystick gaming and Switch in general. I mean, even if you're a veteran of playing with joysticks, this is still going to be weird for you because it's motion aim, and nobody knows how to play with gyro controls until they've tried to play Splatoon. So, oh boy. So we got the map we wanted. We did not get the comp we wanted. There's still a Bloblobber on the other team. We have, if anything, even less paint than we did before. At least we were able to get on top of that player because they stayed too close. There we go, we got them. This map works a lot better because it has routes that you can take through mid. Multiple routes that you can take. Sorry, not through mid, to get around mid. And it also has some nice ledges that we can sit underneath. This is a roller's favorite pastime, doing this. We can hit up over those ledges. They can't hit down over those ledges. So it's really, really safe for us to just sit under there and wait for someone to get too close. Notice also that I'm using the vertical flick most often to paint, because it gives me a longer line out in front of me. I'm very scared right now. The only other person alive is my teammate over on the complete opposite end of the map, and now I've probably given myself away. See if I can get a Zuka shot off of this guy. Nice. Okay. That'll make the retake a lot easier. I don't want to push too far. Oh, no. Well. Is there anybody coming around here? No. They know I'm here, but it's going to take them a minute before they can get around to actually chasing me down. And so in that time, I can maneuver around a little bit. I just kind of live here. Okay, we should be able to take zone here if we're painting for it. We need to paint for it. There we go. Okay, we could have gotten the blob there, but we got him eventually. Paint the zone. Need to paint the zone. Go. I'm switching to the horizontal swing as I get closer because that's the range at which it's going to be able to hit them. And it's a more consistent hitbox to try and be landing on them. I can't stay too close to that because I don't have a lot of ink to work with, and there's a lot of players who could potentially drop down from there. I'm also... We're not painting the zone very much. Unfortunately here for the... for our jet player, it's kind of their job right now to be a paint bot. They really need to be painting for us because the rollers are not going to be doing a lot of that for them. A little bit sloppy there on the combo, but they had no idea I was there in the first place. So it ended up working out. I'm gonna work on shredding the crab, because again, maybe the most dangerous special in the game to fight head-on, but we don't have to fight it head-on. We have cover that we can hit around. Okay, 2 coming from the left-hand side here on the enemy team. I would love to be able to just flank, but I'm worried that if I stay too far forward, that we're just going to lose track of the zone. Try and paint through this here and see if we can keep it at least neutralized. And we're getting forced out by the squeezer, but they'd have made a big mistake trying to get that close to me. Not a situation that they win. Okay, caught them on their way over, and this player is going to get me, but we should get lead for this. Nice. Someone coming around the right side. We really need to keep zone here, but we're not going to keep it. Oh, wait! Oh, no, we're not going to keep it. Darn. If I'd put maybe like a burst bomb on zone, it might have taken them just a little bit longer to cap it. We might have actually won. We don't want to go in right now because we've just got this big numbers disadvantage. We're going to play it really safe. We're only going to go in once our teammates are around. Okay, they saw us coming. We almost got them anyway. Like, they got really, really close to us, which was a big mistake on their part. But we're going to have to... Oh, boy. I'm the first player in here. And we have 4 seconds. I don't think we have enough time to cap the zone. I got a bunch of paint down, but yeah. The push was a little bit forced. You have to consider that it's going to take some amount of time to even get the zone capped. So, I don't know. I probably could have devoted maybe a second or two to fighting before I had to switch to painting, but... with us staggering as badly as we did at the end there, we didn't have the resources, really. So, unfortunate that we didn't have enough painting weapons, but I hope that it showed at least the more aggressive playstyle there and how that can be impactful on maps that you can sneak around on. Like, think for a second, like, how much of that match did I spend in mid, where the objective was, and how much time did I spend in the little alleyways on the left and right? The way that I approached the enemy team was designed to put myself in a place they wouldn't be looking at. And that was how I was able to get as many picks as I did. Whenever I showed myself, like, in full view of them, that was when I was a lot more likely to go down. Like, at the very end, like the fight before then, where I was turning around to try and paint enough of the zone to maybe get the KO. Those are situations where, like, I'm out in the open and you saw I got shredded immediately. But it's when I'm sharking under a ledge, when I'm sneaking up from behind someone or on the side, someplace they haven't seen, using ink that got put down a long time ago that they haven't been looking at for a while. That's the way that you're going to try and look for your best plays as the Carbon Deco. So, huge thanks to Shreepa for giving us this footage to look over for the VOD review today. That will be it for the VOD review segment. But first, a gacha roll. All right, not bad. How many tickets do I have? I haven't been using these at all. All right, not bad. And that is the 12th of those that I have received. I don't know why I have so few of these. This is the one that I want the most. At least I have a bunch of these. That's good. Anyway. Yeah, the thing was, so early on, what happens is a lot of people will pick up a weapon like Carbon or Tri-Slosher or Brush or something, because when you do this and you're aiming this way, you still hit someone. And that's really nice for a new player, because it's hard to hit shots in this game. Aiming is really, really difficult. If I do this With a splatter shot, never in a million years am I going to hit a target. So, because it's less precise, it's a lot easier to get into and play. But as time goes on, the disadvantage of range starts to come into play. With the carbon roller, for example, you know, you take a splatter shot, and I can do the same very fast lethal damage with the splatter shot from all the way back here. With the carbon roller, this is not going to hit. And this is going to hit, but it's not even going to two-shot. So what people learn to do eventually against the rollers is to start using range against them. And so then you can't be just going in and trying to do this. You can't, as the roller, be going and trying to roll people over, which is the first thing that a lot of people tend to try, because then all they have to do is run at you. This is really easy to do. You know, you can train a 3 or 4-year-old child to be able to splat people this way, because all they have to know how to do is use a joystick and get them to run around the map like this. It takes another level of, you know, ability with the game to be able to hit these consistently, because you do have to aim these somewhat. It's not like easy mode exactly. You know, this right here is going to do a lot less damage than this right here. And so, even though I am doing some damage here, the precision still helps. But as time goes on, the ability to aim precisely makes it so that you gain access to longer ranged weapons, and these start really beating, especially the roller players who just roll around, but even a roller player who's just going to walk at you and try and swing the roller, because in order for this to be effective, you have to get way closer to them. And that's, you know, even from back here already, before you're even hitting them with this attack, you're already taking immediate damage from the splatter shot at the fastest speed that they can deal damage. So that, you know, that starts to fall off. And you have to start learning how to get close to people while you're using this, and getting close to people without being seen is really hard. So that's when you start getting into the skills of being able to, like, shark. And the same kind of thing happens with tri-sloshers. Again, weapon with a really wide hitbox that's relatively easy to aim, but it has this thing where it's got a slow fire rate, and the range leaves a lot to be desired. And so sometimes you just don't get into range to be able to hit stuff with it. And sometimes, you know, you are in range to hit stuff with it, but because you're not aiming your shots, you're not going to hit them. You have to walk a little bit further forward to hit from that kind of angle. So over time, you know, precision starts being rewarded more and more, and also being able to sneak up on someone starts being rewarded more and more. Because if you can get behind someone, if you're shooting at someone who's shooting at your teammate or something, that's when those weapons really shine. And that's when, even at a high level, someone with, you know, a good carbon roller gets on top of you while you're shooting at their teammate or something, you're just dead. There's nothing you're going to do. You might be able to trade if you've got a really fast killing weapon. That's about it. That's the end of the story there. The mistake was made when you got close to it in the first place. So, whereas a lot of weapons, the challenge is the precision of being able to hit your shots, with a weapon like the carbon roller, which is relatively easy to hit your shots with. It's not the easiest weapon in the game to aim with, but it's definitely one of the easier ones. The challenge with this is more, can you get close to someone so that you're actually in range to hit them? That's the tricky part. Getting to where you can deal this kind of damage or this kind of damage, that's what's tricky with this thing. But very, very fun. Get to be all sneaky. Get to sneak around the map. Okay. Let's get this Clam Blitz ticket, shall we? NZAP, my beloved, even though I switched to T-Tech because of Gem. Yeah, NZAP 85 was a beast of a weapon. And NZAP 89 was better than any of the NZAPs in this game, in Splatoon 2. But bombs are a lot less important, a lot less spammable in this game. And Tacticooler just hasn't been doing great so far. Plus, if you're going to run Tacticooler at this point, you're probably going to run it on Tri-Slosher instead. So we haven't been seeing a ton of it. The shots have a lot of opportunities. You find weapon elitism in Splatoon a major problem? I mean, if you ask a competitive player about a tier list or like what weapons are being used right now, you're gonna get some very frank, blunt answers. I wouldn't call those people elitists, because part of what those players are trying to do is make it so that if you're interested in competitive play, you're not picking up a playstyle that is going to fall off and have to just completely relearn the game over a period of time as a result of that weapon choice. They don't want you to... They just don't want you to, like, waste time or, like, disadvantage yourself for no reason. They want you to pick something that you're going to see significant value out of at every level of play, and not mire yourself in trying to figure out, you know, how far you can push the Clash Blaster or something like that. But I will say that I think that we are very quick to dismiss a weapon, and that it's far more likely that a weapon surprises someone with how good it is than that it surprises someone with how bad it is. Like, there are use cases where you can have significant impacts with even weaker weapons. And failing to recognize that is something that I think the competitive community has on occasion done. Now, there is a good point in that if you're trying to get on a competitive team and play at a relatively high level, those niche use cases are not going to be on every map mode, and when you switch map modes, you know, they're not going to want to bring you on just so that you can play the Explo on specifically Umami Ruins, and then have another player who plays on everything else. They're going to want someone who they can field on every single map mode, so they can start getting used to you and know how you play. So, weapons that are consistently viable on a variety of different situations, those are the weapons that you're going to see at the highest level of play. It's not just a matter of, is this good? It's, is this good here and elsewhere? Is this good in a variety of different situations that you are likely to come up against in tournament play? So even if a weapon isn't the best choice for a map, if it's good in a larger variety of places than the best choice, it's going to get picked over the best choice, except by one trace. As far as the mindset around it, like, there are definitely some, you know, stances on weapons that end up hurting players in the long run, and I would say it's more hurtful to the people who, you know, are closed-minded than it is to the players that they share their opinions with. Because it's going to make it so that those players have a... This is a stupid thing I'm doing. It's going to make it so that those players have an incomplete understanding of the game that can be taken advantage of by people who know how to play those weapons. And, you know, if you dismiss something as a low tier for too long and never remind yourself of, like, what its weaknesses actually are and how to punish them, then you can get yourself into some trouble and get beaten by some stuff that shouldn't work on paper. But at the same time, like, if you listen to someone who says, "Oh, you shouldn't play that, it's bad," and you don't ask why it's bad, you don't, you know, interrogate that question, you don't see if it fits into your playstyle anyway, then I would say that's on you and not on the person who told you, "Don't play that, it's bad." There are going to be people who have bad opinions There are going to be people who are closed-minded about things. That's not something that you can, prevent. But you can protect yourself from those people by interrogating their opinions and getting them to clarify things, instead of speaking in generalities. I'm shooting into this Booyah Bomb here. I don't want anyone to be able to get close. There, we found them. They just keep running power clams out the right side, and we really are not doing a lot to stop it. But I guess they're not doing a lot to stop us from scoring when we go in. It's been a goofy kind of solo queue sort of game there. There we go. All right. I will say, I do think that there are some weapons where if you are interested in winning at a competitive level, it is just very confusing why someone would want to choose them. Like, I don't get why someone would think, if your goal is winning specifically, because that's an important, distinguishing factor here. If your goal is just to push a weapon as far as it can go, cool, play it, right? Like, if your team is willing to let you run it, then run it. If you just only like the game while you're playing that weapon, that's cool, run it. There's nothing wrong with that. But when we talk about competitive play, the word competitive means your goal is to win the game. And if your goal is to win the game, and that's the only factor that we care about, there are objectively just some weapons that are gonna win more often than others. And it's because of characteristics of the weapons and not because of a popularity contest about who plays those weapons. Like, there's a reason I make tier lists. Like, sure, they're an imperfect method of analyzing the game. Like, I'm not gonna tell you that, like, a tier list is absolute fact and that anything lower than this tier will never win ever. Just, if you're looking for a weapon choice that you could put your time into, and what you want out of that weapon choice is games that you're going to win, you're gonna want to pick a certain, you're gonna want to pick from the upper echelons first, The other weapons should be kind of, like, if you're gonna use them, you want to be thinking, what am I getting out of this that this other option that we know is really good doesn't give me? There's got to be some niche for it. There's got to be some reason to. Because, like, I don't see why someone would want to run, say, a gold arrow spray when you could run a sloshing machine. Or if you're trying to play, an aggressive play style, when you could run a splash-o-matic. Or a 52 or something like that. The advantages just don't outweigh the disadvantages for that weapon. When compared with other kits that are in the game, you're just less likely to win by picking it. You can even look at this with, like, ranking numbers. Like, you look at a top player when they decide, I'm gonna just, pick this weapon and grind it, even though I, know it's not a great weapon. Like, Kiver did this with the Silver Arrow Spray in Splatoon 2. 2800, 2900 kind of player in Splatoon 2, and when he picked up the Silver Arrow Spray, he was just short of 2600. And then he spent, like, I think it was a full month, like, trying to push that as far as he could go with it. It wasn't able to carry him as high as the other weapons were. And it's not just a familiarity thing, because he's already familiar with all sorts of shooters. He's switched from Splash to Shot to Pro, which is way more different than any of the other ones are, and then he switched on to Aerospray, and that was how well he did. So, like, there are definitely weapons that have weaknesses that do not outweigh the strengths of other weapons, and so when someone, tells you that a weapon is not that great, if they're trying to pick on you or something, just laugh it off with them, because they're attacking the weapon. They're not trying to attack you, probably. If they're trying to attack you, and, they're like, it's filthy casual or something, and you're a competitive player, then, I mean, beat them with a weapon if you want to. but like also recognize that a lot of the time where that actually comes from is someone just not wanting you to waste your time, or, you know, because like if I were to tell, let's say, SBPC, you know, who was on the call earlier, that I was deciding to pick up Undercover Umbrella, I wouldn't expect that he'd be like, "You're dumb and bad. What a casual. What a filthy casual." He's not gonna say that. What he's gonna do is he's gonna be like, "Why?" Because as a competitive player and an analyst who studies competitive play and tries to understand what's going to be strong in the metagame, he's looking at that like, I don't see a reason why you, as a competitive player, someone who I know wants to win games, would want to pick that weapon. That's the response that I really expect to get out of him. And that I completely understand, and I don't think that that needs to be read as an attack on someone's character. Why not? Because it doesn't win as often. That would be the answer to that question. Because, like, if I were, you know, purely focused on trying to win the game, and the answer, the conclusion that I come to there is the Undercover Umbrella, then he's going to look at me and be like, really? Is this the analyst that we've been listening to for so long? Like, oh my god, I might need to discourage the people who trust me from watching this channel. Like, it might sound harsh, but like, I would be completely understanding of that sort of sentiment there. So what he would want to hear from me is, here are the personal reasons that I have for wanting to run it, or, you know, I just think it's fun, or I think it could actually get pushed in these particular situations, and then he would question me about those. And if I had an answer to the question why, then I know that he would, you know, sit and listen to me about that. You know, he would hear me out. He might disagree. He would almost certainly disagree. And I would disagree if someone were to try to say the same thing to me. But again, I don't think that's an uncivil conversation. I don't think he's like attacking, you know, my intelligence or something. Like, because he's not jumping straight to, "You're stupid for thinking this." He's like, "What is it that I have not considered that would lead you to this conclusion of all things?" So it's like, there are, you know, reasons that people have run Undercover in the past. The Kent's Undercover Umbrella was a very good torpedo spammer and armor tank. It would just, like, keep on giving you armors, and it would spam this really broken sub-weapon. You know, when it came out, it was really broken. People weren't shooting it nearly as much as they should have been. People were not, you know, were letting it explode, and it was painting a lot. And we didn't know what to do about it. And it happened to be really strong. And it also had a bunch of, like, inefficiency buffs that, its inefficiency ultimately got nerfed to make it so that it was a lot less spammable than it was before. And that also helped a lot. But, like, people have run Undercover, just not this Undercover. And when, you know, it's so a weapon is so universally unused in competitive play, when nobody is trying to push it, you can probably assume it's a stinker. There's someone out there, out of the thousands and thousands of people who play this game, even at a competitive level, you know, even though that narrows it a lot. There are enough people playing this game that if that weapon was sleeper really good on some map modes or something, that someone would actually be trying to make it work in tournament play. And you're just not seeing that right now. Yeah. Another thing that I think is a dynamic that comes up with those kinds of situations is that sometimes if somebody decides that they're going to stick with the weapon even though they know that it's not the best choice, like, I could see it being a fun goal for themselves to just try and be the best undercover player. You know, it's not as difficult as being the best splash player, but it's still a really hard thing to do. So maybe that's, you know, an idea that someone has in their head that they want to go for. And I can totally understand that being a really interesting thing to try and push in solo queue, because then you get to see how this really low-tier weapon should get played, and maybe learn something about the game that way. Maybe there's a tactic that you can carry over, or maybe it teaches you something about how the game works, seeing how it has to play in order to accommodate for its limitations. There are some worthwhile reasons to run those lower tier weapons, but sometimes what happens instead is you'll get a more casual player, someone who is has convinced themselves that what they want is to win the game. And they don't really have their priorities in order. They don't really understand their own goals. And they tell themselves, well, if the undercover is what I'm best with. You know, it fits my playstyle better. And so even though everyone's saying that it's low tier, you know, it's definitely what's best for me. When, if they were to pick up something else that's similar for some other reason, that they would probably see improvement pretty quickly in what they're capable of doing. And it's when people have mindsets like this that are very clearly limiting themselves, that's when competitive players get frustrated first trying to help said players. You know, they'll look at this and they'll be like, okay, dude, this is not something that fits your playstyle. You don't want to change weapons. You have this unwillingness to adapt to the way that the game actually is. You have a way that you want the game to play, and you're trying to play to that instead of playing to the way the game actually is. Like, wake up, dude. And in having trouble dealing with people who have that mindset, that lack of humility, is what it boils down to. Competitive players get frustrated, get the idea in their heads, man, I guess there's really no helping these people sometimes. And when you run into a situation where there's not much you can do about it, the thing that humans do is decide to laugh at it. When people get upset, you know, at people's political opinions, you just throw up your hands and they're like, well, I guess that political party's just a bunch of idiots, and we're gonna laugh at how dumb they are. That's like what a lot of political shows are nowadays. Like, you look at someone like John Oliver or Ben Shapiro, those guys exist to make fun of the other side's, you know, political views. That's most of their content. Just, hey, this is funny, laugh at this because it's dumb. And that's the way that a lot of discourse breaks down. Just, someone gets frustrated feeling like they're not being heard, feeling like the other side doesn't understand their perspective, feeling like there's no more dialogue to be had. And when we run into a situation where there's nothing else we can do but laugh, we decide to laugh. It's something that you will find, you know, it was very commonly noted with Robin Williams, rest in peace, that he was incredibly funny. And part of that was because he was very sad, and in dealing with that sadness, he found ways of making himself laugh, ways of making himself happy, and making others happy that helped to deal with it. It's kind of what competitive players are running up against, where they get, you know, mad, angry, frustrated, they love this game, they want people to enjoy it on the level that they've been able to, and someone comes in with a mindset that they just can't square with, they can't deal with, they're frustrated by, they wish that people were, you know, more resilient. They wish that people were smarter. They wish that people were better. And they feel like a non-humble mindset, something where people are deluding themselves about what their actual goals are. They look at that and they're like, well, there's nothing I can do. Might as well at least make fun of them. And so you see that a lot, especially with, like, higher-level competitive players, because the Splatoon Reddits have not been friendly to competitive play. You know, the very public places where you find a lot of, like, Splatoon artists, people who are really into the idols, the lore, and don't play the game anywhere near as seriously as the actual competitive scene does, you know. And that's not to say that there aren't competitive players who are into those aspects of the game, but, like, when that's the only point of reference that people have, the only thing that people are interested in, when maybe this is a game that people have played casually and have never played a game competitively, and so they come in without the strict competitive mindsets, the you know, humble, ready to learn, ready to adapt kind of mindset that it takes to play the game competitively, that can rub a lot of people in the competitive scene the wrong way. So I don't want to just label, you know, talking about tier lists and stuff as weapon elitism, because I think that mindset doesn't adequately address the people who are bugging you as human beings. Because they have their reasons for feeling the way that they do about tier lists. You know, they're responding to an ongoing conversation that you may not have been aware of, that you may not have been a part of, in how tier lists should be judged, in how, you know, weapons should be chosen. And they've been a part of this conversation for a long time. They've heard a lot of bad takes, and they're sick of the bad takes, and they have less and less and less patience for dealing with those bad takes as time goes on. And so even if they misdiagnose you as having one of those takes, they might respond negatively as a result of that. So hopefully that helped some, you know, raise some degree of empathy for how those kinds of conversations tend to go down. Because I definitely sympathize with both sides there. It's very annoying to have, you know, the choice of weapon that you really enjoy gatekept by someone. Like, that's obnoxious and can be very mean-spirited sometimes. A lot of the time, you know, a competitive player will use their knowledge of the tier list as a bludgeon against someone, being like, oh, well, I know that this weapon's bad, so, you know, look at how smart I am. Because that's obnoxious. But it's also obnoxious for the competitive player when a casual player will be like, this weapon's the best because it fits my playstyle, and you try to gently tell them, okay, like, I get where you're coming from there, but it's just not going to do as well. Even if you switch up your playstyle completely, you're still going to have better results than you are with that weapon. Like, trust me, I've been there, I've tried to make it work, it's just not there for you, buddy. And when they respond negatively to that, when you're trying to, you know, let them know what's in their best interest, when you're trying to give them tough love and tell them, hey, I don't think that you're really being honest with yourself, and they don't listen, it's like, well, why did I even try in the first place? Ben Shapiro thinks he has a sense of humor, at least. He keeps talking about, like, oh, this is really funny. This is the funniest thing. He doesn't have the best delivery. Like, say what you will about the politics of either one of the examples I had. John Oliver is objectively the funnier of the two political commentators. Like, he's way better at doing, like, ridicule humor. And there are definitely some things that I think John Oliver says that are unfair, too. And I'm not going to say that I especially side with Ben Shapiro on anything, but, like, John Oliver is definitely the funnier of the two. Just, like, he's got... Ben Shapiro has this, like, nasally, like, haha, isn't that funny, guys? Isn't that really funny? Okay, so we're gonna move on to the next thing now. Like, the delivery is just not there. He's relying so heavily on the script to carry any joke that he ever makes, or anything that he tries to ridicule. And I don't know how anybody ever looks at that and goes, haha, look at the person being dumb. I've always feel like the natural response to whatever he says should just be, yes, that doesn't make logical sense, or, well, I think there's an error in that argument, but I can see where he thinks there's a contradiction, rather than, ha 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 ha, that's funny. But that's the way that a lot of people respond to it, and that's something I've never really understood. Undercover Brella is funnier. Undercover Brella is just objectively funny. Like, I wouldn't put them anywhere near the same tier there. I'm not talking about the politics of either of these people. I'm talking about which one's funnier. There's a big difference there. Ben Shapiro is not a comedian. John Oliver definitely is. That's all that I will say about that subject. Can't look at a person spawning with umbrella and not smile. I mean, I do really love the whole Kingsman thing, the way they hold it, and you're like, oh man, this person's about to beat me up with an umbrella. That is actually, you know, I have to say, the undercover umbrella does function very similarly to the way that umbrella would actually function in hand-to-hand combat. Like, sure, it's something in between you and them, but it's really flimsy, it breaks too easily, you're probably not going to do that much damage with it very quickly. Like, think about it. Maybe they're actually geniuses, you know? Maybe this is actually the best designed weapon in all of Splatoon, because it is actually indicative of how combat ready it is as an object. Oh my goodness. Squid roll, please. There we go. I agree, Tron from the future. I think that our diversity is something that literally every other gaming community should be taking notes on right now. Like, what are we doing right that they're not? And I think, like, the biggest reason that I want this scene to grow, obviously, besides, you know, it benefiting me personally, you know, so I have more friends to play with, it benefiting me financially. I have a lot of ulterior motives, but I think the biggest reason, the reason I care about most, that I want this scene to grow, is that we have this inclusiveness that everybody else could have. I don't think it's hard to have this that we have. And if other communities just look to us as a guideline for how to build themselves, that a lot of people will have a lot more fun playing video games across the spectrum of games that people play. How did that not hit anything? That's exciting. Why are they trying to push still? There are like 3 enemy players right in front of them throwing bombs at them and stuff. Okay. Got both of them. Worked out okay. Okay. We've got a Gambit Nova. So it'd be good to try and like take fights directly in front of them when we can, so that we're supporting them getting their opening Gambit stacks, or whatever. I guess you could call them stacks, because they do accumulate. They add up on top of each other. That was a little bit brave. Yeah, I knew that was going to get me. This has been a game of trying to push the Rainmaker in situations where people should not be trying to pick it up. Way too much in front of them for it to be safe, but we're going for it anyways. They really did just drop down on top of my section bomb, huh? I saw you there. Don't think I forgot about you. Oh man, that was really bad aim. And I have to drop so I don't die to the explosion. I'm picking this up just so I can stall for my teammates to get back in, because I don't think we would have had a defense in time to protect against them taking the lead. Yeah, they're gonna get lead here. I'm not picking that up. I am... the only real frontline weapons we've got on this comp. Probably should have kept shooting at the same guy. How did that not hit anything? Okay, well. When your opponent misses their shots, you get to hit them. It's funny how that works. Oh, okay, there we go. Man, my aim has not been good. I can't get there. I'm not sure I like the undercover being there, yeah. I don't think there's much they're going to be able to accomplish by themselves. Not in a 1v4. In general, it's a skirmisher, right? It's a weapon that's designed to get the enemy team's attention so their teammates can follow up. With no teammates to follow up, you're not playing the weapon to its strengths. Sometimes bombs are all you need. Okay, we gotta take some space here. We're not really getting out into mid, and so they're just kind of continuing to run forward at us. Like, how many times have I splatted that 52 now, and we're still not getting out into mid here? There's one. Look, we got more space, even though I ran in and died. It is important to get that forward pressure, more so in this game than it ever has been in Splatoon before. There's one player down. Shred that. We'll try and create some paint over here in case they want to go for it. There we go, force them out. We might have a way through here. Oh, we're just going up the middle. Okay. I dig. I dig! We just have to pick this up and we win. Beautiful. The siege was successful. That was a thing that we were going to be pretty good at doing. We were going to be pretty good at sieging. The bow was taking some pretty good positions to pressure people out. We're going to have vision of them a lot of the time because we had the constant point sensors from our opening Gambit Nova. And the Brella, if they need to jump back in, was going to be able to do it with the Brella shield up. So there were some things that were going right with that comp. Not something I would ever want to run, but it's definitely not the worst. Life advice. What life advice was I giving during that game that we just played? That game of Rainmaker. Alright. So that cleans up all of the tickets there, it looks like. I could keep going on this, or on this a little bit, but I'm getting hungry, and I never play as well when I'm hungry, so I'd like to approach that ticket with a fresh mind and a fuller stomach. What would be the strengths of the tent umbrella? I do actually have an entire video where I got the best tent umbrella player in North America to teach me more about the weapon. And it was definitely really helpful for me understanding it. It's called, so the series is called Professional Development. And the player's name was Shadowwind. Go watch Shadowwind, and if you're interested in learning tent umbrella things. But so the tent umbrella has a really, really big shield, and if it pushes in with that shield, it can just kind of slowly swim with it and get in range to one-shot people, because it can do that. So that's really good. And what you can kind of do is you shield your way in, pop the shield, and then when someone tries to attack you, you pop the ink vac, and now you've got this whole sequence of things that your team can use to get themselves through an area that it's really hard for the enemy team to stop. So that's what this thing does. And it also drops a lot of beacons, both for information on the enemy team and for getting super jumps in so that the team can stay further forward. It's not a bad pairing, honestly, having the beacons with the Brella, because it helps accelerate the game in ways that the Brella's main weapon itself is too slow to do. So that's kind of nice about it. And what you want to be doing generally is either you have a set play in mind where you're just going to start here, you know you're going to launch this shield, you're going to move up with this shield, and you're going to have a vac ready for as soon as you're getting engaged on so that you can continue to move forward with that vac and that shield to get your teammates in. Or, in the meantime, you're going to be kind of skirmishing. You're going to be jumping around, shooting shots like this, and whenever someone gets too close, you're popping out the shield. Because some of the time that you're spending firing the shot to get the shield up, you're moving by jumping through the air. And so that keeps you safer while you're preparing the shield there. And it helps you kind of decide whether you want to put the shield up or whether you want to save it for another time and just try and swim away. So this sort of thing is really good. And then when you're ready to go in, you might pretend that you're about to launch the shield, and then instead drop and just go in for the splat when they turn to your teammate, because they're not going to shoot at the shield, and they're going to shoot at your teammate instead. Or you can actually decide, no, I am going to go in with that shield, and trick them into thinking you're not going with it, and then one-shot them from inside it. That's kind of how you're going to play it. Yeah. It was a really great session because this is one of the weapons that I have understood the least, even since Splatoon 2. Like, I understand Splatonas better than I understand this weapon that has been in the game since I started playing it. That's, like, how big of a gap there was in my knowledge with this thing. And I think that session with Shadowwind helped me understand it a lot better. So that was really cool. I'm gonna go and get into the chat here real quick, so I'll be reading for a second. Finally caught a stream. Welcome, 3. Playing Splatoon really made me consider how voice chat and text chat affects my enjoyment in games. Since then, I now usually turn those off. Yeah, I feel like I would love for it to make sense to have a voice chat on during an online game. I just think for most people it doesn't. And that's the community's fault around the game. That's the fault of the people from, you know, as far back as like the 90s when it was thought that video games are for boys and not girls. And we got this whole dumb idea in our heads, and then when people who are different from us started actually trying to get into those spaces, there were growing pains, and, you know, there's all this crappy stuff that led to that social situation that we're in. But, like, at the end of the day, we've got a lot of toxic behaviors that a lot of communities still need to learn from. Just tried using the tent umbrella like 10 minutes ago. It was my first time since years in Splatoon 2. Did not like it first time using it in 2. Yeah, it's definitely very, very, very slow. Like, frame data is abysmal on that thing. But you have what you need because of the strength of the shield. At least in Splatoon 2. Used to be a barista. I saw a post on the Starbucks subreddit where the original post... What? Oh, about the Fame video. I understand now. I was like, what does this have to do with Splatoon? How can I schedule a VOD review for myself if I'm unable to DM you on Discord? Says this person's DMs are set to friends only, or you don't share a server. Well, if you don't share a server, that means you're not in the Squid School Discord server, which you can find from right here. And if you're in that server, you should just be able to find me easily enough and DM me that way. Hi, Ane. Thank you. Health has been bad, but I can't wait to get back to playing. Oh, I'm sorry to hear about your health. Girls are gamers? Hold on. Not just girls, but also women. Whoa. Holy crap. life-changing. I'm gonna get my cootie-covered girl hands all over everything you love. Ooh. Oh my god. I remember, like, the concept of cooties was a thing when I was in school, where, like, ooh, he's got cooties. He, like, better don't let touch him. Don't let him touch you. He's got cooties or something like that. I don't think anybody actually knew what that means. A cootie is apparently a louse. It's like they've got lice. Like, don't let them touch you because you'll get the lice from them. I think that's the idea. So, like, the idea is actually, like, this person is unclean, but then it just became, oh, he's a boy, so he's got cooties, or, oh, she's a girl, she's got cooties. Like, it became this really dumb elementary school thing. Mom was playing competitive online Dr. Mario in her 50s. That's hype. Oh my god, what a cool mom. But yeah, like, a lot of the mobile game market is actually, like, middle-aged women. Like, Candy Crush, that was moms. That was all moms. That was who was playing that game. Oh my god, thank you so much for the gifted memberships, Hazel. That's so kind of you. We're going to be hearing a lot of Vimo, Vimo, Vimo over and over again here, and I'm here for it. For a syllable, you were saying girls are gamers, and I thought you were saying girls are gay, and I was so extremely hyped. Love it when the girls are gay. I mean, some of them are. I would be telling a falsehood to say that all of the girls are gay, but there are definitely some girls who are gay. So, you've got that going for you. And thank you so much, Evan. Jem, you have awesome content. You're a good person. Oh, thank you, and a great teacher. Thank you for your wisdom. That's very kind of you to say. Should complain about Japanese players too. I guess it runs in gamer circles, you know. It's it's so funny. Like, when gaming was a more gender segregated space, when you just, like, did not see any women at all, you'd get a lot of women who would be like the girlfriend of the guy who just plays video games all the time, and she'd be, you know, she'd be like, oh my god, I don't get why he plays the game if he gets so mad at it all the time. Like, you know, why getting upset at someone who's getting frustrated at the game. And then seeing so many women get into gaming for the first time and exhibit all of those trends but worse. They're new to gaming. They're not used to dealing with the frustration as much, and so all of those same toxic traits just start happening. You know, this demographic that once railed against the angry gamer boy became the angry gamer girl. That's not to say that all of them are like that or anything like that either. Like, if anything, I would say that women as a group are generally more likely to be mature. They have social skills ingrained in them at earlier ages, and they're conditioned that they need to have them more than men are. So, if anything, I would say that it more trends towards that. But it was just so funny seeing people who might have at another time gotten really upset at someone for exhibiting those traits, all of a sudden showing them themselves, because that's just what video games do to people sometimes. It was a good, like, human moment, I think. Mom used to be a top Halo player. Oh my god. Y'all have some cool moms. What the heck? Trans man. My boyfriend calls me a Kyle because I throw my controller. That's funny. Yep. That is very Kyle behavior. I don't recommend throwing your controller, by the way. That's going to cause you to have to buy more controllers. I have seen people throw controllers. I've even been a cause of someone throwing a controller. The real cause is their mindset at the time, but I've definitely been there. Oh my god, the Vimos just keep coming. But yeah, Okay, where are we at? That was Lunar Squid. Okay, we've got 4 more of those. 4 more of those, and then a donation from Ben Lancaster. Loving the content. Thank you so much. That's very kind of you. Yes, believe it or not, being a woman does not prevent you from getting tilted. I know it's crazy, but that's actually a thing. Oh my god. Someone who is a girl that just got Splatoon as their first shooter game. This is true. Welcome to our little cult here, Radcat. We're happy to have you. We are better for having you. But yeah, it takes a little bit of getting used to. And I think part of that is that anything competitive is going to be a reality check. Anything competitive is going to force you to look at yourself and be like, oh wait, I'm not as special as I thought I was sometimes. And that's hard. That's a sucky thing to have to learn. And the thing is, everybody sucks at something the first time they try it. They try it. So you're going to have to go through that at some point. You're going to have to be humble enough to learn. So, yeah. But again, very happy to have you. And, you know, I am happy to have everyone new who's coming into the community, but it especially makes me feel good about what we're doing here, that there are so many people who are not just cis dudes, that other people than cis dudes can feel comfortable in this space and can go on to do really cool things. Because that's not the case everywhere. We definitely drive away a lot of different kinds of people who could be here and, you know, make us better for being here. But we just make it too insufferable for them to be here. So it's just really cool. I missed a super chat earlier. Oh, all the VMOs tonight. Yeah, no, the VMOs are done. That happens when you get 20 gift subs or gift memberships all at once. Everybody say thank you to Hazel, by the way. Everybody who got that gift membership. Hazel's the one who got that. So thank them. If I threw my controller, I'd be throwing my whole Switch. Yeah, that's also a problem. Sometimes the controller is attached. So please don't. Did I hear Romeo? I don't think so. He hasn't been around for a while. Oh yeah, he's big snoozing right now. Big snoozing. Favorite part of the VODs is the post-VOD review session Q&A. Good to know. Good to know. Chin scratch. I get angry during gaming. I just step away from it for a little while, then return when I've come down. Yeah, that's a good way to deal with it. There are some cases where that ends up actually not working because maybe you're in a tournament scenario and your team needs you to be there. And it's there where your mindset is really tested. Because, you know, something that we always talked about in Bravest, this was a line that I took from Scott Novus, but who he might have been quoting from someone else and I wouldn't know, was that competition helps us be our best when our best is most needed. So like in a tournament, you've got to be on at that moment, at that time. You know, the winner of a tournament is whoever was best on that day. Doesn't matter who's supposed to be best on paper, it's who is best on that day. And you can see sometimes teams play poorly, and you can probably just infer that something's going on mentally. FLC was actually just talking about this when he was breaking down the Iketon Monthly recently. He was looking at a team and he was like, these guys are making solo plays. They're better than this. There's got to be something going on really, really bad on the comms or something like that. Their mindsets are not in it right now. And he was able to just infer that by watching the way that they were playing the game. As a woman, I have been known to rant in the Salt Discord channels. I mean, as a human being, you know, that is a tendency, but I will say this. People make these, like, Discord channels for like they call them like salt or venting. You'll see these on like Reddit all the time too. When you vent, like that is a psychological term. That is something that's been studied. That is something that psychologists understand pretty well. It works if you have a sympathetic or empathetic listener. You know, somebody who is there that is hearing you out and specifically, you know, validating what it is that you are saying and helping you feel better for feeling these negative emotions. That is a healthy thing. That's not what happens on a assault or venting channel, because nobody is going there to read those things for fun. Nobody wants to see that stuff. You're just kind of yelling into the void, and at that point, what's happening, since you're not getting that sympathetic listener out of those people, is you're just practicing being angry. It sounds weird, but like, you practice your feelings. If you do something over and over again, you become more efficient at doing it, quicker to doing it. It's very easy to be in a cycle of negativity, to express negative feelings, feel the negative feelings as a result of that, maybe get some catharsis from expressing them the way that you do, but it just keeps you coming back and coming up with more reasons to be negative. And that sort of a mindset can spiral into preventing you from learning. Because if you go into a game and you lose and you go, oh, there was nothing I could have done, my teammates are so bad, then you're not looking for ways that you could have improved. And that's the reason that I don't like those things. That's the reason there is no salt or venting channel in the Squid School Discord server. I just don't think those tend to be healthy. If you're going to vent, find one friend who really gets you, who is really a good friend for you, talk to that one friend about it, and make sure that they are willing to take on that emotional labor of listening to you throughout that, and be willing to do the same for them. That's the way that really helps. Being a woman can, in fact, make you more tilted, usually justifiably so. Yeah, that's true. Women do end up running into some dumb crap that other people don't have to deal with. And that's not just to say it's women, it's, you know, anybody who's not a cis dude, basically. I'm in this post and I don't like it. Yep. There, I've caught up to the thank you Hazels, at least. Splatoon fans are more hostile to card gamers than political minorities? Oh, goodness. Appreciate it. Just wanted to do something for this amazing... Aw, thank you, Hazel. Diversity in your community is also a reflection of how you shape your content. Oh, well, thank you. Thank you. I mean, I try. It's something that's important to me, as you can tell, as, you know, you will see in the videos and everything. And it was something that I thought the Smash community did pretty well. There were definitely ways that it could have been better. There were definitely some groups in the Smash community that were holdouts of the old school, you know, using gay as an insult kind of mindset. They refer to it as using gamer words, which is like, on one hand, there are definitely some words that should just not be spoken by most people. And we were using some of those words back in early days in the Smash community, and it was not okay. And I understand, like, the idea to label them as just gamer words and laugh at them like that, because, for one thing, for a lot of us, that was just the culture that we grew into, being young kids and not knowing any better. Like, a lot of us were not educated on what it was to even be gay. I didn't know what it meant to be a gay person for a significant amount of my childhood. I'm not sure that I even knew what a trans person was until, like, high school or something. And we're a lot better at educating people about that now, but, you know, it does speak to the ignorance that people had about what that kind of language meant at the time. But the Smash community cleaned up our act. We continue to do a much better job, and, like, yes, there was the whole moment in, I think, 2020 where we had a sort of mini Me Too movement within the community. But what people take the wrong thing away from that, that was a very good thing. Like, people were speaking up because they finally felt safe enough to speak up about it. Once one person spoke up, everyone was like, oh, wait, this is getting positive attention. This is actually creating change. I can speak up now. And so that's why all those accusations came out all at once. It's not to say that, like, the Smash community had so many bad actors, you know, so many more than other groups did. It's that we were finally talking about it. That we were finally at a place in the community where we would actually do something about it, where we would actually keep people safe. It was a huge positive that all those stories came out. As emotionally exhausting as it was as a tournament organizer when it happened, like, that was super important. And the Splatoon community, I feel, has largely benefited from a lot of those changes in that, you know, on top of the whole not having voice chat thing, we very largely stem from, like, the Melee community's culture. Like, it may not be something that everyone is aware of, but, like, a lot of the old heads of the Splatoon community, the people who were setting things up, were just, like, Smash players, competitive Smash players. We stole a lot of their competitive infrastructure. A lot of the ideas that we have about how to run things came from the Smash community until we developed our own identity. And the culture, I think, is a large part of that. And I view this kind of as a natural progression from what we learned from those days. Yeah, the Vimo storm has finally passed. Although that was 6 minutes ago that they said that. What is your 52 gal build? It's not great, but I'll show you what... Actually, I'm wearing it right now. This is what I would run on a 52 gal. Now, realistically, what I would actually advise you to do is to go to that link and look at what the stronger players are running on the 52 gal. Yeah, like, and here's the thing about the venting channels too. Like, they're exhausting to moderate, dude. I don't even have to play that much of a role in moderating. Like, I've got a bunch of people who, I don't know why they're interested in doing as much work as they are, honestly, because, like, it's not a pleasant thing to have to deal with all of the worst posts that get made in a Discord server, especially one as big as mine. And I am so incredibly thankful that I have people who do that for me, so I get to focus on other parts of my work. But it is exhausting to have to moderate those venting channels. Like, when you get a high volume of stuff going in there, there's going to be something that goes overboard. It's going to be something that goes, just really grates on you. That's emotional work. Can't become the #1 best at anger if you don't practice being angry. Yeah, get good, scrub. Like, competitive anger. What does cis mean? Cis mean, yeah, not trans. It means that the gender identity that you have cis means the gender identity that you have matches what you were assigned at birth. I wonder if Googling that is actually a good idea. You're probably going to get some good medical sources out of that, I would think. Yeah, okay. All right. Yeah, the more academic sources are the ones that you're probably going to find when you Google that. So you're probably safe to go and search that, and you are unlikely to find yourself down some transphobic, hate rant. I guess it's terminology that you don't see very often from people who deny the existence of trans identities because they don't even necessarily agree that the term needs to exist. So maybe they just won't use it, and searching cis specifically is a good way to learn about it. I was like, wait, can you do that when I realized I could be non-binary? Wait, you can do that? That's really funny. Was there a specific moment where you fell in love with Splatoon? It was it basically worked like this. And I've told this story before, but I originally learned Splatoon 2 for work because I was working at Bravest Esports, where I was signed on as a coach for Smash Bros. But they were trying to see what else they could do with the Switch consoles they had, because, you know, that's a big investment to buy a bunch of Switch consoles. Maybe if there's another game that people are interested in on the Switch that's competitive, that we can teach that too. And so we were trying to get stuff going with a number of other games. They gave me a copy of ARMS. They gave me a copy of Mario Kart. They gave me a copy of Splatoon. You know, this is before people tried ARMS and were like, it's not going to succeed, and it died out largely. I'm sure there are still some ARMS fans out there, but it is definitely a smaller community than it was at launch. I remember I was like, I played ARMS for like 2.5 hours, played Mario Kart for like 5 hours, you know, trying to learn them, to get used to them, just, you know, for my own purposes of being able to coach those games. And then at the same time that I had those numbers, I looked at my play history and I was like, oh, I've got 100 hours in Splatoon 2. You know, I think I might like this game. And kept playing it since then. I very quickly started looking into the competitive avenues and trying to find teammates. Ended up lucking onto the Grillers and played with the Grillers for a good 3.5 years or something like that. When I realized I was trans, I was like, oh man, this is so inconvenient. Yeah. Man, I will say one thing that I really appreciate about being straight myself and cis is that, well, not really cis. Cis doesn't really factor into it as much, but definitely straight, is that I just have a bigger dating pool. Like, there are way more straight women than there are gay women. So the odds are just in my favor, you know? I'm a little bit luckier in that regard. So that part is nice. But what it does mean, I have found, is that people who are gay tend to, since the, you know, it's a more competitive landscape there, they tend to put in a lot more work towards being attractive. So they got that going for them too. Advice for Dually Squelchers players: how well will they scale as you get higher up? Dually Squelchers are a great weapon in the wrong game. Dually Squelchers are really, really good at kiting. They're one of the best weapons in the game at kiting, at backing up and shooting at someone from longer range than they can contest. They were really, really strong in Splatoon 2, very annoying, difficult to deal with. The problem in this game is that they have nowhere to back up to. If they're backing up, they're just giving up space along the objective line, and the enemy team is getting to walk forward for free. And that doesn't work in this game. So it's actually kind of a mid to low tier right now, even though in Splatoon 2 it was a high tier. It's very awkward. But learn jump tech and try to be as annoying as possible and find as many unique ways to retreat that aren't along the objective line as you can on every map. Hey, it's Power! So, thank you so much for the raid, Power. If any of y'all want to watch a really, really good Charger player, Power is the one to go and watch. Power is a top player from the UK, if I remember correctly, who is very good at hitting shots with laser shooty shoot gun. Power was one of the early GooTuber pioneers who quickly stopped playing GooTuber, if I remember correctly. But hey, Power did it at Big House. I saw it. I saw it with my eyeballs. Scrolling. Keep that Twitch chat scrolling. Did you ever work on coaching for Ninjala? I have not played a second of Ninjala. I know nothing about it. I don't even know what the game mechanics are. I don't know how it works. Story you told about the mom who was concerned about you being a gay atheist. Yeah, that did happen. I learned much later on in, even after I'd moved past teaching, that my entire first year of teaching, everybody at the school thought I was gay. And the only place that could possibly come from was, I think in like 2015, 2016 or something like that time frame, back when there was a lot of national political fervor about the possibility of gay marriage being legalized. I intended to show my support for that by putting up that like equal sign symbol. It was like a blue field with a yellow equal sign, and I attached that to the profile picture. But apparently the only people who were doing that were actually like gay, I guess. I don't know. I saw some people who weren't gay who were like allies doing it, so I don't know. Maybe it was just like a localized thing to my community or something. But fast forward, many years into the future, I have now, graduated from college and gotten a job as a teacher. Some kid found that on Facebook at some point, found that image of the profile picture with the equal sign, and were like, oh my god, Mr. Teacher is gay. And they told everybody, apparently. And to the point where even the moms were finding out. It was like, no ma'am, that's not true. And telling her that it wasn't true, I will never forgive myself for not getting upset about this in the moment, for not like, I was upset obviously internally, but for not expressing it and my indignance to this woman. She got noticeably like pacified, like noticeably more relaxed when she heard that, oh no, it's not true, any of those things that he's saying. I was like, are you really that happy because specifically I'm not gay? Is that where you're coming from here? Anyway, there's more to that story that I would love to be able to tell, but at that point, anybody from that school would be able to immediately identify who it was. So I'm not going to go any further with that story. Would you consider dually squelchers viable in comp? No. Straight up no. I think that the weapon is way too good for me to be saying this, but like its whole strategy is get your attention and then back up. And the only place it has to back up is towards where the enemy team wanted to be going anyway. So you just walk at this thing and it has to run away from you. And it can't actually stop you. And that's its biggest problem there. 96 Gal Deco is another weapon that I think is very overrated. Like, I don't understand why top teams are still running that thing. I think that Kraken is so bad that there is almost no circumstance in which you would want to run it. So being gay is the best way to get high-level practice. High-level practice, I don't remember what we were talking about back 4 minutes ago. Sorry, I've lost the context at this point. There's a skateboard weapon and you can get points from doing tricks. That's all you need to know about Ninjala. I feel like I need to know more about Ninjala to be able to coach it or anything. People will think I'm gay because I have a sticker on my computer that has "Say Gay" on it. They're less likely now to think that you're gay just for having that, but yeah, there are probably many people who think that. Word spreads quickly in school. Yeah, for sure. Like, if a teacher, I talk about this in a video, if a teacher, like, swears in class one day, everybody knows about it immediately. Like, you're gonna hear about that for weeks after it happens. Had an openly gay teacher in high school, and he was the only one who could yell at me and my boyfriend for too much PDA. Oh, that's funny. I mean, I don't know. Teachers yell at straight couples for that all the time. High schoolers are just generally... Let me back even further up. The thing about, like, those high school and middle school relationships is that they've never had such strong feelings like that before, and they go completely overboard. Like, it is full puppy dog mode. It is, they don't care who sees them, they will make out in public. And that, you know, on one hand, you want to be like, oh man, they're just young kids, let them enjoy themselves. On the other hand, it's like, I don't want to watch that every single passing period. That's just what it comes down to at the end of the day. Like, keep that to yourselves, guys. Like, and part of it is also like, because kids are not as in control of their lives, and so you'd love if adults behave like that, you can be like, oh my god, get a room, guys. But you can't tell high schoolers to get a room. That's not a thing you can say. So you look at it and you're like, whatever. But it does get to a point where you're just like, look, this is distressing for me to look at. Nobody is enjoying this. You are supposed to be paying attention in class. Please stop. High-level practice comment, maybe because you referred to the gay dating pool as a competitive... Oh, okay, I see. Here's the way that I would put it. And this is actually very comparable to Super Smash Bros. Melee, and I'm going to make this comparison. You can't stop me. Back in the dark ages of Super Smash Bros. Melee, back like 2008 or so, when the scene was about as small as it was ever going to be, because it got kicked out of the MLG circuit. That's, you know, before like 2001 when it first came out and there was no competitive scene yet. Not counting that. This was about where it was at its darkest hour. You'd have people coming from multiple different states to attend an event that had 25 people in it. And that was a big event for the local scene. And in that environment, the lower level players got immediate access to the best players on Earth. Like... because that was all you had. Those were the only people you had to play with. It didn't matter how good or how bad they were, you needed them as a top player. Nowadays, we've got so many more people playing, and also online play, the top players never have to leave their houses. In fact, what is best for them, oftentimes, what will get them the most improvement, is not leaving their houses. Usually there needs to be like a financial incentive to get them out of the house, or some big major tournament. And so that environment where you've all got to stick together and you get immediate access to everybody, that's what you get in a smaller dating pool. In a smaller dating pool, you know, you're going to get considered, you know, because you're one of the only 3 things on the menu there. So if that's what you've got, then someone's probably going to want to roll with it. I have no personal experience with this myself, but this has been my observation from the friends that I have had in those communities. My professor is the biggest foul mouth I've heard. See, with professors, there are no parents who can yell at them. If somebody's going to get upset at the professor, it's because a student said something. So the professors get to just be real with people. And typically you can expect that they're going to be mature enough about it that they're not going to get themselves in trouble. Sometimes that's not the case. Sometimes they're idiots too. So, you know, some of the smartest people in the world can still be absolute idiots in other ways. It's one of the weird facts of life that people don't necessarily understand all the time. It's why there's a difference between the intelligence and the wisdom stat in D&D. I think it's D&D that has that. And yeah, like you said, no one cared, it was funny. But part of that is also the maturity of the students. Because if you use a no-no word in a 6th grade classroom, they're going to be like, oh my god, Mr. Teacher just said that thing. He said the thing that we're not supposed to say. Oh my god, this is so significant to my life. And the thing that I should do about it is make noises. Instead of just like listening and being like, oh wow, in my head. I should tell my mom about this. Why is he allowed to say this thing? Like, kids are going to have that response because, and that's also for good reason. That's because curse words are pretty powerful things, and that people should understand what they're saying when they say it. And kids don't understand those things yet. Jem, do you watch anime? I wouldn't say... My answer to that is always no. Not to say that I haven't watched anime before. I'm actually a huge fan of Ghost in the Shell Standalone Complex. I think that's a beautiful piece of science fiction. Like, there are definitely some anime that I have enjoyed, but I would not say that I am a part of an anime fandom or anything like that. I am very critical of a lot of anime. I think that a lot of the tropes in anime are especially jarring to me as a Western viewer. I think I can, having grown up in with a Western media diet, there are a lot of tropes that I'm a little bit more tolerant of in Western media just because I'm used to them, but seeing them in Japan, not having grown up with that being my primary media diet, it just, a lot of stuff bugs me. So there are some works that I think are just genuinely brilliant, and I would absolutely not, discount the entire genre, but I'm a lot less likely to find something that I like there than in other places. I have a Google extension that makes Animal Crossing noise every time I type something. That's awesome. Like when you type, they're making that little gibberish. That's really cute. Romantic young adult or shoujo manga featuring high school students. Don't y'all need to study? Yeah. Yeah, they probably do, but they don't. Top 500K. Does Gem D&D? I have a D&D'd twice. We got full party wiped on the very first combat encounter the first time, and then we made new characters and tried going again with the same group, and that got a little further. But we haven't gotten together to do that in a very long time. I haven't been in touch with those folks. Your favorite wood type in Minecraft? I'm a Minecraft scrub. I'm bad at Minecraft. I'll tell you that right now. I have mined like 3 blocks of diamond in my entire Minecrafting career. Would be interested to hear more about your current involvement with the Smash community. Basically 0. I go to a Smash tournament and play in it when there is a Splatoon LAN major that I am attending that also has Smash, because they always have Smash with them. And then I go around and I, find other Smash players and I'll say hi to them. I'll teach a Splatoon player to play if I want to. I'm going to be teaming with Aplo at in Melee doubles at LTC coming up. That's going to be a lot of fun. It's not going to be super serious because Aplo I played the game once and it was with me at last year's LTC. But that's kind of where I'm at with the community right now. I'm not as big of a part of it, but it's still a big part of who I am, and I still love that scene and care about it deeply. Would you say that 96 Deco players should consider other options for competitive play, or should I try to push it? I just think that Kraken is too weak of a special right now to get any value, and that the reason that you pick a 96 Deco is to have a Kraken. If you're going to pick 96 Deco, it needs to be with a very aggressive comp that you can use the Kraken to force people into. That you want to look at what New Meta was doing back in, I think it was Squid Junction 40? Or Squid Junction Golden 40 or something like that. It was called something like that. That kind of a team comp is where Kraken's going to work the best. And you might be able to get some value out of the main weapon too that way, but I would consider something like a 52 gal instead. Let's see, what else is similar to that weapon? Probably just a machine would be the other one that I would think is most similar to that, depending on how aggressively you want to play it. Jem, do you watch South Park? I have seen South Park. I think that there are some moments in that show that are absolutely brilliant, and a lot of moments in that show that are obnoxious and grating. There is some satire, some social commentary from that show that's just genius. But the show's been on for so long, there are only so many times that you can be brilliant. And there are definitely some things that they've done that have been misses from me. So. breaking out the chicken and sausage gumbo tonight. Thanks for the recommendation. Never thought I would have thought to try it, but for the soup tier list? Really? I actually got someone else into Progresso soups? My god. Why are they not sponsoring me? I've literally made them money. Like, guys, come on. It's a part of my brand now. Oh my goodness. That's hilarious. Do you like MLP? I never... Okay, so my MLP, I'm assuming My Little Pony. It is a slightly above average children's TV show. I never really got the adult appeal of that beyond explanations that I'd rather not discuss on this stream. And I'm sure there's something to it, you know, like, I totally get it if, like, you were a mom or a dad that was watching the show with your daughter or something and being like, this is one of the shows where when I watch it, I don't want to, like, claw my eyes out. I don't want to put earplugs in. Because, like, looking back on the shows that I used to watch, I could look at, like, a show that was even really well made. Like, Fairly Odd Parents was a pretty good show. But the voices are so high-pitched that it's so grating and obnoxious that now as an adult, I can't watch that show anymore. And my parents always complained about the same thing. Because kids' voices are higher, and so you're used to their voices being grating and obnoxious. And then you become an adult, and you don't have to hear grating and obnoxious voices anymore, because everyone you know has hit puberty, and all of a sudden, high voices become grating and obnoxious. Even if the show's good. So, anyway, like, I feel like it's a good if you're, like, a parent, or if you're a kid. I wouldn't watch it as an adult, personally. That's my review of the, like, 2 episodes I saw of it. So maybe I didn't get in deep enough. I don't know. Do you like MLP? This is important. Oh my god. Any experience in other shooters like Team Fortress 2? I have played Team Fortress 2 casually. I've played Overwatch casually. I'm not good at PC shooters at all. I'm trash at, you know, your Valorants, your Fortnite. I've tried Valorant. It was only on console, but I've tried Fortnite. I'm not good at those games. I got in from the Nintendo side of things, not from the shooter side of things. Major League Ponies, yes. I eat real soup, but I also eat Progresso. That is true. That is true. I have, in fact, eaten soup that was not Progresso. All the 30-something dads wanting to be Bandit. I don't know who Bandit is. Cozy familiarity from childhood. Yeah, and it's like... My recollection of the My Little Pony show was also that it had a pretty decent thematic understanding of, like, how to be friends with people and how to make friends and, you know, so some important life lessons. Again, good children's television content. So that sort of thing, I'm sure, would be valuable to some people to learn from. But I don't know. It didn't do anything that I hadn't seen in my own TV shows that I watched as a kid growing up. Do you know Animaniacs? Yeah, Animaniacs. Originally, Animaniacs is cool. I heard the new one wasn't bad either. Why are we talking about cartoons? I don't know. And how good do you think Adventure Time, Steven Universe, or regular show were? Okay. Regular show... I have not seen on any kind of regular basis, but every gag that I've seen from it has been great. It's just a little bit too high energy for me as an adult these days. But that has, you know, from what I've seen of it, that was a pretty classic show. That was like getting up there with like SpongeBob in terms of its quality of writing and social commentary. Steven Universe, I didn't get anywhere near far enough into to have an opinion on. Adventure Time, it felt like something for a newer generation. Like, basically, once SpongeBob changed in like 2004, it wasn't for me anymore. Like that's the point at which I started aging out of cartoons. That's when there was like that generational gap where I started being like, this isn't really even being made for me anymore. Squid School cartoon tier list when? I could do that. I don't know. I don't feel like I'm the most informed on that. I could make you a cartoon tier list of like things that were on like Cartoon Network and Nickelodeon during the time that I was watching them, but I don't know how the Zoomers are even really going to care about that. Like half of them are just not on the air anymore, and most of the ones that are on the air are going to be different too. Owl House seemed like a pretty good show. I didn't get super far in it. There are a lot of shows that feel like they come out of fanfiction.net or like whatever various fanfiction websites people grew up on. And like there's certain like tropes, certain styles of storytelling where I see and I'm like, oh, that was probably inspired by that. And I have a mixed relationship with those things because on one hand, all the fanfiction websites are by nature very amateurish and have a set of different pitfalls they all tend to fall into. On the other hand, they tend to be very progressive and inclusive and come up with new ideas that more mainstream audiences are not going to be familiar with. And as those kinds of writers grow and get better at at writing, those shows are going to start becoming really, really cool. Owl House felt like one of those matured productions that came out of a fanfic writer. And I'm here for it. I thought it was pretty cool. Older cartoons, Tom and Jerry and the Smurfs. Looney Tunes, absolute classics. There are reasonable social commentary to be made on them and how they normalized and desensitized violence. And that is, a valid concern, although I'm sure it was happening in other places in society at the same time. But, oh my God, the quality of the animation, the humor, the just study of irony. It's like the Laser Collection is another kind of example of this, where like, if you want to learn irony, if you want to learn how to pull the rug out from under someone in a funny way, you just watch those and take notes. So good. Tom and Jerry, almost up to that same level. Very, very good. The Smurfs, I never understood the appeal whatsoever. I did not find anything particularly funny about them. Like, the Smurfs just felt like a sitcom. It didn't feel like anything crazy enough was happening to merit animation. Like, you might as well have just done that with human beings a lot of the time. And it was like, sure, there's goofy, like, they're small blue people, but I what is the appeal of that? I didn't really get it. Say something about having to go eat? Eventually. I'm not going to starve in an hour. Did you watch much Pokemon? I wasn't allowed to watch Pokemon. I think my mom must have read on some, like, I don't know, Christian moms forum or something that's Pokemon had themes that were unhealthy for a growing Christian boy. I don't know what the problem was with it. It felt pretty silly to me, but so yeah, I was kept from watching it more than that I didn't want to watch it, because the episodes that I did see were pretty compelling to me at that young age. Jimmy Neutron was like I'd put that at like a B tier show. It was solid, but if it was on, I'd watch it, but it wasn't the first thing that I was hoping to watch. What do you think about the rapid deco in competitive play? Seems like it could be nice. Yeah, people have been saying, like, it's not bad, it's just not good. And when I've been using it, I've been enjoying it a lot, and I've been able to maintain pretty close to my peak X power on it. not quite my peak X power because I'm better trained on shooters, but like I feel like it's probably a little bit better than people are saying it is, but torpedoes at top level are really weak. They tend to just get shot down. It's nice with this weapon because you have the combo if someone gets on top of you, and so it makes it better at short range than any of the other rapids have been. An inkjet is definitely playable too, but I think the problem right now is just that if people want an inkjet, they're pulling a ballpoint out because ballpoint is bonkers right now. Ballpoint is really, really good. I think that from the amount that we've been seeing it played and the success we've been seeing it have, ballpoint is potentially on like the same level now as like Splash and maybe even Machine. Like I think it's almost that good because every team that I'm seeing at top level is running one of those things. So maybe I'm wrong there, but I think it's the Rapid Deco is outcompeted a little bit, and the paint is definitely an issue for it. Thoughts on Avatar: The Last Airbender? Very solid show. Very solid show. That's another one that feels like this is a thing that came out of the maturing fan fiction writers. But they did a really good job with that show. And like the whole concept was really cool as an action show. And they did very, very good action work on it. But they also had good character drama. Just all around very good show. If you're an aspiring writer, like there's a lot to learn from it. A satanic panic kit? Nah, it wasn't really that they thought it was satanic, but that was one of the few things. It was Pokemon and Harry Potter, and I mean, Harry Potter, I mean, ended up actually being pretty problematic in the end. I don't know. I wouldn't say that the novels themselves are problematic. I'd say the author is the problematic one there. It's truly sad what she did to her brand, but it was just those novels and the Pokemon show, and that was about it. I feel like that was maybe the only touch that she had with popular culture to be able to say what I should and shouldn't be watching from there. Anti-Christian themes such as the power of friendship. It was something about like always wanting more power and never. It was not a good justification even by the standards that I could think of from her perspective. I think she just didn't really understand what it was about at all. Would you watch a Splatoon anime? I mean, I'd check it out, but I probably wouldn't be super interested in it. The storyline is not what I play this game for. Have you seen the Super Mario Brothers Super Show? No, I haven't. Okay, and then everyone starts memeing with the Super Mario Super Show. We're pretty hands-off on the media. Certainly stopped me from watching Jackers of the Brothers out. Yeah, I don't know. That show was just. Why did that exist? Why? You know that this is unkind to the people who did that, because like there was definitely a degree of skill and a degree of artistry to that show, but like I think of the movie Idiocracy and the channel that's just dudes getting hit in the crotch over and over again, and that kind of felt like what that show was. I could not get behind it. I like to use torpedoes as sort of, I'll give you something to shoot at. Yes, but it's a very expensive, here's something to shoot at. It takes a lot of your ink tank away to do that. And you can't throw another one again very quickly. Hi, Woomy Quackity. Were you a SpongeBob kid? Yeah. Any of the SpongeBobs before like 2004, like I know those episodes from watching them over and over again. Once the SpongeBob SquarePants movie came out, I was out. They changed The voices, they changed the animation style, the humor changed. I wasn't there for it anymore. Super Mario Brothers Super Show was good. Unironically good? I have never heard that about it. Maybe I'll have to check that out. Ballpoint with Squeakin'. You call them Squeakins too? Oh my god. You're only the second person I've ever met who's called them Squeakins. I guess third person, but that's because he's dating the first person. That's wild. I mean, it's a good name. I'm not gonna lie. I heard cartoons were in the conversation, so I'm going to bring up Drake and Josh, a live-action sitcom. Way to be on track there. Way to be on topic. No, I gotcha. Yeah, Squeakins, short for Squid Beacons, because that's what their full name is. So you call them a Squeakin'. All right. Well, I've caught back up to the chat. And I'm getting really hungry. So here's what I'm going to do. I am going to start a raid. So that I can go and eat. Because I know the soup would be the easy one to make right now, but also I'm really hungry and I want to eat something more. So let's go and raid Sam. Sam is a former teammate of mine, played for the Grillers for a long time, and has hit top 500 with, I think, 3 different weapons at this point. Very solid player. Currently playing a lot of Nautilus, if I remember correctly, but who knows? He's been a Charger player. He's played all sorts of stuff. He can just kind of flex. So we're going to go and send everybody over to Sam, and I'm going to really quickly copy the Twitch link into the chat so that YouTube folks can also follow along if they'd like to. There it is. And we're going to go off to there. Here are my links, everybody. If you would like to watch more of me, go and click on button. Sam I am. Yeah, that's a good raid message. Sam I am is going to be the raid message here. I like that. So if you want more of me, I've got the YouTube, I've got Twitter, I've got a Discord server, I've got a TikTok, I've got Twitch and YouTube, obviously, because you're watching from here. I've also got a Medify and a Patreon if you want to support the work that I do to produce content and to teach people how to be better at dating, I guess. And so there's all of those things. And if you want to do that, then you get to vote and nominate on the comps that get chosen for Silly Comp Sundays. So that is an incentive to do so. Anyway, let's go and say hi to Sam. I'm told that the raid starts earlier than I actually finish saying anything when I'm trying to do the raid, which is weird. But here we go. We are raiding. Goodbye. Thanks for watching.